Dean, today was wild.
Oh yeah.
I had to watch one of the most hardcore movies I think I've ever seen in my entire life. This is
Richie
like a
Rich?
happy-go-lucky show. People come here to escape. They come here to live, laugh, love. And fucking Marco picks fucking the most heavy film of all time as his movie.
Based in reality, it wasn't even like a fantasy story. It should really happen.
Dark
Jesus,
stuff.
Marco. It was
So Batman Forever should have been the pick again. We should have just run it back, huh?
yeah, just run it back.
That's
baby.
nothing. Ben's next movie pick of the week, he's going to pick Passion of the Christ.
Jesus Christ!
Are you an angel?
What?
An angel. I heard the deep space pilots talk about them. They're the most beautiful creatures in the universe.
Hello there.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We would be honored if you would join us.
He's got a billion toys.
You brought in the doll collection.
These are not dolls, Jim. These are commodities. Same as gold or oil.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You are now listening to the Collecting Weekly podcast.
This is the true form of floor gang right here. Very nice. YouTube.com/collectingweekly. Thank you very much. That's very cool. Big.
Hey guys, my name is Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Little Z.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Paul.
Welcome to this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. It's a weekly podcast where my friends and I talk about the things that matter the most to us this week in collecting.
That's right. We want to thank our friends over at 1/6 Corner for sponsoring this week's episode of Collecting Weekly. Guys, don't forget to use code CW10 during our live recordings for 10% off all in-stock items. That's capital C, capital W10. So make sure you go check out their in-stock items today.
We have a great show planned for you guys tonight. It is honestly not a lot of stuff to talk about, but we're here, we're live, we're gonna do it for you guys. Dean, before we get into any of this fantastic news we have a very special segment that we kick off all the best shows.
Yeah, is everyone ready?
Yes.
It's new this week.
Yeah. What'd you get new this week? So I had a pretty good week. I got the Jack Specific Sonic the Hedgehog Collector's Edition Classic Sonic. It's a 6-inch figure-ish. Sonic's kind of squatty, but it comes with swap out faces, swap out eyes, swap out hands, little diorama base. It's cute. I love it. I love Sonic. So it was on sale on Amazon, like half off. It was only $30. So if you want one, I ordered it like 5 days ago, so it should still be on sale. It's normally like 60 something, but I got that, and then I also got the Spartan Collection Arbiter, which I've been waiting for a decent Arbiter figure for literally since they came out with the character. And I honestly believe that the Spartan Collection is the best Halo line we've ever gotten.
Facts.
Not only the scale, but the articulation is much improved on even say the McFarlane ones. McFarlane one had a better number, like in terms of like all the different Spartans you could get, but we're getting there. But finally, the Arbiter. This thing is huge. I was expecting like them to just cram it in the same box. It was not. It's about twice the size as a regular Spartan Collection box.
Wow.
But it's pretty badass. The articulation could be a little better. His head only goes up and down. There's no jaw articulation, which I thought was odd. But he has swap out hands. It's sturdy. He stands upright. It's not loose or anything. The armor on his right arm gets kind of in the way if you're trying to pose him in a certain way. But other than that, it's fantastic. I love it. The Arbiter's such a cool fucking character. So yeah, that was my week. I don't think I got anything else.
Are you going to take him out of the box, Dean, or like do you leave this?
Oh yeah, I immediately took him out of the box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, and it's awesome. A hefty figure. Like he's solid. But yeah, he's fucking awesome. I love the armor. Super happy to add that.
Wow, congratulations!
Thanks.
Paul, what did you get this week?
I got a couple Iron Studios pieces. So put these together. Got a Sauron. So if you can see that.
Wow, that looks a bit different.
That's beautiful.
The Sauron that.
Yeah, different property.
It's based on the book, all right?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is
what book is that?
Yeah, it's a cool piece. Paint job's really cool. I mean, it's excellent. So I'm excited to add it to the collection. So I got that one, and then speaking of Lord of the Rings, I got the Witch King piece.
Hey,
as well. Oh, that looks really good.
Wow.
Yeah, they did a great job. The paint.
Wow.
How much was this?
Oh man, I think it was like 200, 210, something like that.
Oh man, that's fucking.
Wow, this looks really good.
Yeah, sorry, it's not super in focus, but they did a great job, and I'm adding it to the rest of the pieces I have for that. I went kind of all in on the Iron Studios for the Lord of the Rings. The scale was just right for me. I've been happy with pretty much everything. So,
congratulations!
Awesome. Thanks, man.
John, you got something really cool this week.
Yeah, a little tiny one there. Sideshow Symbiote Spider-Man, the quarter scale. I got that in. Nice piece, really nice piece. Good texturing, base was done well. Overall, really happy with it. And the crazy thing with this is, I got it in. Edition size is ridiculous, 5,000. But on my base, they didn't write the edition size, the number.
Like
it's blank.
The one that you got, or both are blank?
The one that I got. The base is just as 5,000 and no number. So apparently I have number 1 now.
Wow. What does the box say? Or does the box not say?
The box is just a sticker. It's like some sort of little, you know those label makers?
Uh-huh.
That's what they used.
Oh, that's cheap. I mean, they're writing fucking 5,000 of them. I mean.
Well, they wrote it, they did it on the box. On the piece, it's just, I don't know. I'm going to just leave it blank. I'm not going to put a number in there.
Sorry, John. Wow. I'm new to statues. Obviously, is 5,000 like a lot?
Or, oh my god, 5,000 is ridiculous. It's embarrassing.
Like a lot.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
That's right.
Anything above 1,000, in my opinion, you're starting to get into high territory.
Gotcha.
Wow. So this, did you get it from a Canadian retailer, or is this from Sideshow? Or
this was local.
What's the story behind this?
This was just a local pickup. Someone had it, and yeah, we made the deal. I got planning to do a Spider-Man setup. I don't know how long I'm going to keep in the collection. I might just do a little flip and let it go for something else. But he'll be in there a little bit. I'm going to do an unboxing video. I know Brenton did one. I'm going to kind of do a showcase as well, because you got to see up close. It really is well painted, well sculpted. The base is well sculpted.
Yeah, the details on that base.
Yeah, amazing. Even in the suit, like the body's actually like their veins. You can see veins in the body and the texture. And it brings me back to the Comiquette days when they did the Venom. I get the vibe. Well, I think they pair very nicely together. So I'm going to kind of do a little Marvel display, see how they look, and yeah, I might keep it, might let it go. We'll see what happens.
When did this come out? How old is it?
Ooh.
It's been a while, right?
I don't think it's been.
It's only been like 3 or 4 months. It's not that old.
It's been crazy.
Let me tell you this, John. I think this statue is amazing in every way, maybe except for one. And I'm 100% willing to die on this hill. People called me a fool for saying this. I went to college. I studied anatomy. I don't think that right arm is like a natural, like the way it's bent, I don't think is natural. It doesn't take away anything from the statue. But when I pointed out in a statue group, I got like flamed. People were like, you're a fucking idiot. The guy who sculpted this is like the master of anatomy. I'm like, look, put your arm on the table and try to bend it like that.
It does look like it sits really high up. Yeah, like it almost is sitting on top of his shoulder.
But flexed, and then also it almost threw my arm out just doing it. But I think it's great. And if you got a good deal, man, there's a dude on Ox selling one, and it's tempting. definitely tempting.
First of all, you shouldn't be paying anything. You shouldn't be paying retail on this if you're buying if you're buying locally, because Sideshow has them, and guess what? Sideshow's, they're not going anywhere because they made 5,000. So you're gonna find these things for days. But yeah, people will die for like their word for this statue. Like, they're huge fans of this piece. It's nice, but
I want this so bad.
Is
well
the base
done,
a
but-
single piece or is it two pieces?
So do you see where it has the angels and then that first kind of ledge?
Yeah.
It separates that second like part of the steeple separates.
Got it.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Look at this Badfish in the chat. Gonna go feed the baby soon. Congrats, Badfish. You'll love to see
Yes,
it.
man.
Checking with the chat, we got Toy Mafia, Tukatri, Doc, Smizzle, Nicolio, Joao, Lane Kramer, Ninja Squirrel, Tukatri. Actually, Lane's going to be on OFAC this Thursday, so stay tuned for that if you like Lane. Equan, Universal Key, Danik and Lee Walker, Yomo, what's up, my guy? Who else do we got in the chat? We got Luis, love to see it, PT Works, John Ortiz. John, hit me up on Facebook. We have a chat going on for the San Antonio meetup in October. If you want to join in, let me know. We got Steph. Also, Steph, if you want to be in that chat. Riley, reviews, a bunch of Sweet Angels, Big Dog Pound 1. Marco, what'd you get this week?
Yeah, so I finally unboxed this Moff Gideon. This is one that I've had here for a while, just kind of sitting on my floor. And I talk to Joao about this often because, the value on this guy, well, let me not say the value, the price on this guy has really tanked. And so I got him no taxes, no retail, but even then, could have had an opportunity to get him much cheaper. And so I was kind of resenting him for a while, but I'm a big Breaking Bad fan, big Better Call Saul fan. So to have Gus Fring in the collection, and this sculpt is actually pretty solid, actually. It looks a lot like Giancarlo when you have it in the collection. So I highly recommend this one, but definitely wait. The price continues to drop, so you will get a sweet deal on this guy if you're patient, but definitely one that I would encourage folks picking up if they enjoy the Mandalorian. So,
wow,
really weird that the price on this is dropping, considering your only two options are this and Sideshow, the statue, and that this was done much better.
I just wonder, it's hard to say. I think just everything right now is really tanking, right? So it might just be a factor of the overall market. But yeah, this guy is definitely sitting around for a while.
Yeah, hate to see it. Ben, did you get anything new this week? I know I got something for you, but we don't have it in hand yet.
We'll save that one for next week, maybe, or the week after.
Well, I got to get a shipping quote
there
for you.
See how quick you can get there.
I honestly forgot about it, to be honest. I found it before the show. I was like, I should probably get this quoted out. So last week I ordered a resin printer. Mark Pearson, co-owner of the resin printer, and I have been talking about it all week. I finally got some resin, ran some calibration prints. It's very interesting, it's really interesting when you get a printer like this. There's firmware updates and all kinds of updates, and it's different than obviously printing a 2D object. You get a file, a Word document, you just hit print, it's good to go. But 3D printing, there's almost an art form to supports, and I know Dean, you could probably speak on this, but just having the file doesn't really mean anything. You have to be able to support the model. And even I found out today, there was a person that had put a free model from their Patreon on Thingiverse, and you could download it for free, and basically it was print ready, so to speak. And I have a big print going right now. It's about 80% done, but I'm pretty sure all the models of that Patreon that I printed that were pre-supported failed, which is kind of annoying. But I'm really excited.
And Zach, when you say failed, in what way? It's just not supported?
Yeah, so the model, it basically it's an additive process. So with the printers that Dean has both, but the printers that we used to use for Collecting Weekly, they extrude filament, layer by layer. This one, you have a metal plate that drops into a vat of liquid resin, and it actually pulls the print out of the resin. And so if the model's not supported properly, or there's what's called islands, the print will basically just not print. It'll either fall into the vat or potentially just stop printing because there's something in midair that's not supported. So I need to go back and look at the model, because when I looked at it, nothing was red, so it should have printed fine.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, even if you just reprint it the same way, it'll print.
Yeah,
It's just like,
I was about to say, sometimes prints just fail. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah.
And like Zach said, you could print it again and it'll work.
Yeah, so this was one of the calibration tests. So it's interesting, like when you print, when you have like a 2D paper printer, you have like an ink printing where like you print it and then the printer scans it and it kind of makes adjustments. You don't really have that with 3D printers. So this is called the cones of calibration. So there's two sides of this print. This is the success side. So if it's successful, all of these will touch. So obviously mine were successful. And then on the failure side, none of them should be touching. But you can see at the top there's these little nubs. There actually should be nothing there because it's designed to fail on purpose. This was actually my second test. The first one, the failure side's a bit longer. I probably could have ran like 2 or 3 more prints, but I was kind of getting antsy, so I kind of YOLO'd it, which I don't think really is the reason why my prints failed. But I'm gonna dial this in a little bit better, maybe after the show, get a few more of these prints banged out. But as far as the printing goes, I'm really excited. It's definitely a learning curve, and I'm hoping to be able to print some cool stuff for our D&D game. I think it would be really fun. Even though we play mostly digital, I think it'd be nice for all of our players to have like a little representation of their character at home. Also from Mike Cruz in the Patreon chat, I picked up the Triumphant Mafex Batman, which is an absolutely incredible figure. I think of all the Mafex ones, I think this and the black suit are honestly probably my favorites. And then from Sideshow, I had a bunch of rewards points and I canceled the Iron Studios Mando. I just, between the time I pre-ordered it and now, I had picked up the quarter scale, so it was kind of like a moot point to get both. Sideshow had a really good deal. They were nice enough to let me take advantage of it after the fact. But with the rewards and the discount code and the free shipping that was like already on the website, it came out to $4. So definitely $4 well spent. That's with like tax, shipping, like everything
Crazy.
combined. And it's like $100 figure. So definitely, you know, I only buy from Sideshow like once a year, once I save up like $100 worth of rewards. And, you know, it's a nice little figure and, glad to have it.
How are the paint apps and like the elbows? Like I found in some of the like the animated series ones that I've been collecting, obviously it's not from the same manufacturer, but like they get like weird wearing in the joints. So if you bend the elbow, you see a little bit of that. Do you get that with these or not?
No,
so
this is, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I probably have like 8 or 9 Mafex. I've never had that happen. Sometimes the joints are a little loose, but if you got that gold label joint juice, it'll take care of it right quick. Honestly, there was one small paint defect on my black suit Batman, but it was also from a liquidation sale that someone returned already, and I don't know if they scuffed it, but it was like 2 seconds of craft paint and good as new. But yeah, these are really cool figures. I really like Dark Knight Returns, and I'm really excited to hopefully, if things go my way, pick up that premium format. But yeah, it was a pretty good week. Mike gave me an incredible deal. You know, way less than retail shipped. Sent it early. What a guy. And I'm excited. Hopefully next week, I'll be able to show some finished models that I've printed. And I'm hoping to do a stream with Ian at some point, now that I've done a stream in the past for Christmas last year where we were talking about me getting a 3D printer. Now that I have one, I want to talk with him now that I kind of understand a bit more about the words he was saying. Because when he was telling me back in December, I was like, bro, I don't know what the fuck anything you're talking about is. I was just smiling and waving and faking it till I made it. But
that's how I feel right now.
We have a lot to talk about, except for we don't. Hot Toys Grand Inquisitor. Oh, go ahead.
I do have one question because I'm a little bit
there.
gullible. Is gold label joint juice a real thing, or is that something you just like?
Is it a
made
real
up?
thing? Is it a real thing, Dean? Next thing, Ben's gonna tell me the Hong Kong high quality wrist pegs aren't a real thing.
Ben, different type of joint though, just so we're clear.
Okay.
This is a regular joint juice.
I've never heard of this before.
Joy of joy of hobbing.
This is hang on. Let me give them the history. This is week 1 or month 1 of Patreon.
Okay. Well, yeah, I haven't been around that long.
Do you have gold label by chance?
I don't know where it is. I know I have it, but
hate to see it.
Yeah,
I hate to see it. Sorry, Fern. I let Fern down in the chat.
Shot out
I
of a
apologize,
cannon, but
Fern.
I think this might be Ben's last episode.
Gold
Grand Inquisitor, Hot Toys, 260, October 2023 to March 2024. I will be 100% honest and say that the design of the character has grown on me a bit since we first saw it in the trailer. I think this certainly looks better than what we saw in the TV show, but I'm not as like shocked about it, you know, now that we've seen everything in action. But I think this sculpt really suffers, or this figure actually really suffers from just having a very stoic, frankly kind of bored looking face. This is a character from Rebels that is fucking helicopter flying with his lightsaber and doing all this combat shit. And just looking at him on the right there, like he just genuinely looks like he doesn't want to be there. And it's a shame because they've done really, in the past years, really some bad expressive skulls, but they've also done some okay ones. And I think this is a character that really would have benefited from a second portrait. But yeah, I think it's okay. We got that nice little Reva tease for the people that like that character. And, you know, there's some light up stuff, but overall, I think this is an easy pass for me. But, you know, I think this is definitely something that should have been, at minimum, a 2-portrait figure. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, I got a chance to talk about this on Will Foxification's channel on Sunday. I think it's, and this is coming from someone who does not like Reva at all. It's almost insulting that we got this character first and not her.
Facts.
Because he is like an afterthought in the whole fucking show. Like, I don't think any scenes even pivot around that character. So it's like, why the fuck are we getting this? That being said, I think they nailed it just in terms of this prototype. It looks like the dude ripped from the screen. Say what you will about the character design. Like Zach said, it's not terrible, but when you compare it to the animation, obviously it's going to be vastly different. But for people who like that character, this is great. I don't know why we're getting it like so early, or if not at all, because he's in like 2 fucking scenes in the whole show. But
You're not wrong.
yeah, that's like the nicest thing I could say about it.
Nobody expected you to be nice, Dean.
Yeah, you know, regardless of what you thought we think of him in the movie or whatnot, or the show, how they did the character, this looks great. Like, portrait-wise, literally stripped from the show, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people weren't fans of how they... Say it again?
I said shrink ray, maybe?
Shrink ray. Maybe
I
shrink
think it's
ray.
better. I mean, the proportion of his head's way better than it was in the show.
I know a lot of people still want that elongated... They would have liked that elongated version of the character in the show, but this is what we got. So, but regardless, I think coming out of the show, this is fine. This is perfect. The price point's not bad. What do we say? $260?
Yeah, and it's a shame because that's not a great price point, but I guess that's kind of the world we live in, right? Like $260, like.
Well, I think we're lucky it's not $285.
$280. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm surprised
especially
it's not $285.
lately. Yeah, especially lately.
I don't necessarily think if they gave us another we would benefit from another portrait, because he was very, like you said, he was only in a few scenes, and he wasn't that expressive in the scenes. Wow. Kind of happy we got this before Reva, no? Because I don't know if they're following how the characters were introduced, because he was introduced before Reva, correct?
In Rebels,
in
yeah.
In Rebels, yeah.
And in the show,
in the show.
Yeah, so maybe they're following that case, but to see the stills and see that Reva's coming, that's good news as well. You can have the whole lineup. For me, I'm not interested in collecting this line, but I got to give Hot Toys props because the likeness is right on point.
You can go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I think my only, I'm not going to pick this up at all. I wasn't a big fan of the show, so it's not really of interest to me, but I think the proportions on the head are good. I mean, I think they got it better than in the show. Obviously, the guy had to wear a bald cap, and it looked really big. His head looked really big in the show, and I thought that was kind of goofy. He looked like an egghead. I think it looks better in this one. I think they did nail it, but definitely not something I'm going to pick up.
So I'm surprised that people aren't celebrating the price point a little more. I know like it's not maybe a figure that people want necessarily right now, but I think if we see this guy make future appearances in other shows that connect with people a little bit more, suddenly this first release of this figure could definitely have a little bit more weighted value in somebody's collection. I think it's cool that we get the light up features, the light up chest piece, the light up saber, and the head sculpt, all for the 265, where that standard, even with a head sculpt, has been 285, like you said earlier. I think this is pretty good for that. I also do think that if he'd had the elongated head in real life, people may have compared him to like Beldar from the Coneheads, because he has the sharp teeth and the elongated head. It might have been a Coneheads thing. So maybe they purposely made this decision.
See, I would buy a Coneheads Hot Toys, but
right, Beldar would be amazing. But
absolutely.
you also you can't knock the design of the character based on like from Hot Toys based on the show, because like Hot Toys obviously didn't design it. They were working with what they've got, and with that Riva tease in the background, she's honestly like, I think if the rest of her face looks as good as that one angle of the side of her head, I think she's going to be an amazing figure in terms of likeness. Whether or not you liked the character performance or not, I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I think that the two of these ones, like the Grand Inquisitor and Riva behind Darth Vader in like kind of like a walking scene, could be a really badass display for somebody, especially. So
you're not wrong.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dean. You already had a chance to speak, but go for a second time.
No, I just said he wasn't wrong.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
salty.
Oh man, no, love you, brother. Yeah, I can tell a figure is destined for the bargain bin when I see one, and this guy, he's right there, right? These, like I said, I learned my lesson on Moff Gideon. I do think it looks terrific though. Like the sculpt looks really solid. I like the design in terms of the armor of all the Inquisitors. Like I think that they have really cool looking, just really cool designs overall. I will say, like Ben was mentioning, the Riva tease, if we actually get that released, I'm way more interested in that character and adding that to the collection than I would be this guy. But I haven't ruled him out because he could look kind of sweet next to Darth Vader. Or we've got the new Jedi Fallen Order 2, and I'm forgetting the name of that actual game. But maybe we get some more Inquisitors. Hopefully we get some actual figures from that freaking game. Unlike the first one.
Figures. You got a figure spinner?
Jesus.
How deep do we think they're going in this line? They got Vader, Kenobi, the Grand Inquisitor, potentially Riva. I think they're going to make the other male Inquisitor, probably, or the Purge Trooper. You're right, Dean.
I want a baby Leia.
You know what I'd love to see as well? I'd love to see like a collection of everybody's little holograms. Like somebody who's got like all of the holograms. I want to see that picture.
Gosh.
That'd be awesome.
Thank God they didn't give us
printing them.
two versions of this figure. Yeah, if anyone wants a hologram, $500, friends and family. Shipping is not included. Please put lunch in the notes.
Hold on a second. Two versions of this figure. What was the second version? Him laying on the floor?
I said, thank God there wasn't. Jesus Christ.
That was good.
The Inart showed us round 2 of the Batman photos, and it's hard to tell if they fixed the cape. I don't think that they did. I think it's kind of the way the camera is shooting this, but I know that's potentially still on the table. I will say they did definitely fix the wire in the this grappling hook here. I know John said it looked like it was string last episode, and I did agree. Here's a look there at some of the accessories on the belt. I think these look absolutely fantastic. I think the belt looks great. We also have a look here at the different gauntlets, which I think is really neat that they're sort of doing what the Mezco 1/12 has done, which I think is really smart.
And Zach, I will say, it's kind of alluding to this in this picture, but saw John on another stream, and he mentioned that they didn't say magnets on this because they're going to go with magnets pretty much moving forward. That's their preferred method. Now we'll see if that ends up being true, but it seems like this is definitely magnetic arms.
Which I think is important, definitely. There's also, John was mentioning last stream, there's no way in hell
There we go.
that this would not come with the Bruce Wayne or the Wayne family cufflinks. We got that there. Interesting, this little red streak of paint there on the knuckle. I don't know if that's like a super accurate detail of the movie, but I like it. I'm here for it. Love to see it. And we also got to look at the premium Batman on the left and the normal edition, the sculpted Batman on the right. To be honest, I think both look excellent. I think the rooted on the left is probably a bit better, but for my money, I'm perfectly happy with the sculpted. I haven't put this on pre-order yet, but I'm definitely going to be doing it soon. I think the only thing that's holding me back, because I think these arms up pose not dynamic, but get a little bit more range of motion than the protos. But if they can nail this cape, I think this is tough to beat. I think this is strong. It's a strong figure.
How are they pulling off that bend if it's magnetic? Do you know what I'm saying?
The forearm.
That bend in the elbow.
Yeah, be in the forearm.
Yeah, the magnet would be after the elbow joint.
Okay,
right?
yeah, it would have to be. Okay, that makes sense.
The gauntlet's not almost all the way up.
So is it? Are you getting two sets of gauntlets, or are they just showing how it comes apart? I'm confused.
It looks distinct, right?
Because it's like, oh, the grappling hook comes off the gauntlet, but here's what it looks like together. Is that what I'm seeing, or do you get?
The way I read this is you would get you get 4 total.
Yeah, that's how I'm reading it. That's how Mezco did it, because that's what Mezco did, and I think that's the best way to do it to prevent wear and tear on the parts.
Okay, yeah, it just seems kind of odd that it. Okay, that makes more sense now. Okay, yeah, I think this is great. Now, is that faceplate where he's like shooting the grappling hook? I feel like this is the first time we've seen this, no?
I think you're maybe right. I think you're right, and I don't think it was included in the initial product description, so that's really neat to see. One thing I would say, Dean, is I almost think that this top grappling set right here, I think this may be one piece where the hand is just like permanently attached to the grapple, because it looks too fragile, right? Like if you were having to stuff that into the hand, I think you'd break it, and I think that's a really smart way to do it. At this point, I think the only thing that I don't see from the movie is that gauntlet with the electrical effect on it. Even though I would have been toyish and we complain about those things, I think it would have been cool to see. But yeah.
Yeah, I think everything I'm seeing is fantastic. I literally have really nothing to complain about with this.
Yeah, this is. I don't know. The only thing bad I can say about it is the cape. Like, if they don't fix it, that needs to be fixed. Besides that, I think this is a banger. Every photo I see that they release further just keeps getting better and better. The portraits look great. The Bruce Wayne portrait, I think, needs a little tweaking still. I think they put a little too much not here, the Bruce Wayne one. I don't know if it's a different one. The one that goes with that body. I think they use a little too much pink in the cheeks. They got to be careful with that paint app. But nonetheless, when we're looking at the photos in front of us, stunning. Happy with the accessories. Still wish they'd add the thumb drive. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I'm excited. I haven't pre-ordered either because I leave it all to the last minute. But I think this is one that I'm going to try to get because it looks great.
Yeah, I'm with John here. I think this looks absolutely phenomenal, and really, I knew I wanted to add at least one Batman from Inart to the collection. I went with the lower end version with the sculpted hair because I think that looks really good. But honestly, the rooted looks, that much better. I think you're getting what you're paying for with that rooted hair. I just don't want to have to comb those bangs. Like, that's kind of a line that I want to draw, and I know I'm going to have to do it already with the Joker, but I just feel like that's going to be a mess potentially. Well, we'll see, but there will be a Batman 2 potentially where I could add, if Inart's really successful, if they continue with the rooted hair, then I could always go with that version with rooted down the line. But I think this sculpted look, I'm probably not going to display this one with the helmet off because just with the full Batman setup, it looks so great. I just had to add one. So I will say I'm probably not going to end up with 3 like I did with the Joker, but I haven't completely ruled out just getting an all-in with the rooted hair if they really come out with more stuff and I just get that FOMO last second. But I'm trying to be disciplined because there's just so much stuff coming out that'd be a tough pill to swallow going all in on this. But yeah, I already added one and it looks great.
Just to say quick, this portrait we're looking at right now, my God, beautiful.
It is crazy.
Holy man!
It is.
I wonder why they decided to go with different lighting for the rooted versus the sculpted. It almost makes it look like two different looks, right? Yeah.
That's the
I
only
wonder
thing I'm
with
worried
the
about
rooted
is the
hair-
sculpt. Is the rooted.
Yeah, with the
Sorry.
rooted hair, probably. Sorry, with the
No.
rooted hair, it's probably the same lighting would probably split the hairs up. It would look kind of weird, especially
Okay.
like the bangs in the front. But it's. I mean, I'm selling off most of my Hot Toys and 6-scale figures, but this thing, I mean, it wants to draw me back in. And the rooted hair, I don't have anything with rooted hair, but this portrait is like amazing. I mean, it's absolutely killer. So it's tempting for sure. The price is a little steep, but I think it's well worth it though for everything you're getting. They've done a great job.
Gabagool guy in the chat here knows what's up, Marco. Tough nut to swallow, Marco, not the pill.
I can't take your catchphrase. Come on.
Get-
You're
Hey,
the only
you
one
can
that
do whatever
swallows
you
those
want.
nuts, Ben.
Jesus Christ.
I'm willing to share the nuts, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
But
wow.
I'm on the fence. I'm still heavily on the fence. I thought I'd made my decision with Hot Toys because seeing the comparison where you see the picture split down the center, I think it looks like they both look so good, and they both have things that draw me in, and they both have things that kind of take me out of it. I still think the value on the Hot Toys, like for all of like the quantity of stuff that you get with it, is definitely awesome and like worthy of consideration. But then they release these other photos, and I'm like, okay, it does look just like subtly better. For me though, it's like, do I like this Batman enough to pay that extra bit, or do I feel like the Hot Toys in my collection would service like what I want out of my collection, right? And so that's kind of what I'm on the fence about. Not, I would say that now seeing both, I think if you want the better likeness, I do think Inart, at least from their photos that we keep comparing, because we still don't have in-hand options. I think if we're comparing photos, which we have to do, Inart definitely has the win on that. But I'm going to be like John. I think I'm going to be kind of resting it to the last minute, just like I did with Joker about making that decision. I am leaning towards the standard edition Inart, though, I think, because for the same reason as Marco, for this Batman, I see him as the Batman in my collection, not necessarily Bruce Wayne. I think we will get future movies where maybe we get a little bit more development out of Bruce Wayne as a character, and maybe I'll care about his face a little bit more as the actor. But in the moment, I think the Batman's the coolest, so I may go with the Inart even still after all.
And I will just challenge you on one point though, Ben. When you were saying the better value with the Hot Toys, do you mean because the deluxe comes with more, or the 515 set with the bat signal? And
yes, thank you, because that's what I was originally intending on looking at purchasing, was getting the deluxe set with the signal and everything. And as I said, I think if I want the signal and the Batman and having that slightly better likeness, it might be worthy of paying a little bit more for the Inart. Whereas I'd still feel like I got really good value for my money out of that Hot Toys offering. So it's a hard one. Cool world we live in, though, when 6-scale is this good that it's so hard to actually make a call. That's cool.
One thing I'm not very happy with is how this deluxe with the 2 figures and the bat signal is cheaper than the Joker set.
I think it may have to do with the steel bars or like the metal bars, the real wood.
But
I think you're
still,
paying the premium for those premium materials. I think this one just has a little bit of die cast, but I don't think there's that like really premium part to this set. Like the base, they're just gonna cast that or mold that however they're gonna do it. But on the Joker set, we saw the real hand weathering on everything, and I mean, that shit's difficult, man. That shit takes time, takes a lot of effort. It's not something you do in one pass. So
true, but counterpoint, it does come with a full-on bat signal too. Though,
yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I definitely hear what both of you are saying.
That's true. Yeah, the light effects and everything.
Like, I can understand if it was just the Batman and the Bruce, but the fact you're getting the whole bat signal, I kind of feel like maybe Joker was a test to the market, and now they're kind of backtracking the price of it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
or maybe they're getting more efficient with these things.
Could be.
Because Gandalf came in at I think 500, and can someone remind me what's the base price on this one, Marco? Do you have
you can get it for $280 shipped for the sculpted version, and then $500 for the Batman rooted by itself, and then the Bruce Waynes are around the same.
You could get this Batman for $280 shipped.
$380.
I was about to say, fuss.
Yes.
Yeah, 380 is the full.
Well, 380, even 380. Well,
It's
yeah,
competitive with the Hot Toys
Yeah.
Deluxe version, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, when you look at this figure compared to Gandalf, like there's so much more that goes into this, so many more parts, so many more. It's to me, I think the value on this figure, I mean, like John said, like it's right at about that Hot Toys price point, like, and then once you add in tax and shipping, and like, it's honestly like competitively priced.
Yeah, and this face sculpt is light years ahead. I mean, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Going back to John's point too, though, about the Joker, like I would say that like people have wanted a Heath Ledger Joker remade for a really, really long time, and honestly, like companies are smart enough to know, right? You're gonna pay for what's hot. You're gonna pay for what's most desirable. And as good as this Batman film was, it was still really split on how people liked it. Some people loved it, some people really didn't like it and resonate with it. Whereas Dean is honestly the only person I know that didn't like the Heath Ledger Joker. I'm sure there's a lot more, but I don't really know anybody.
Are you talking about the figure or the character?
Like the movie itself, and
I didn't like it. Yeah, I'll put 2 on your bucket there.
Wow.
I didn't really like it.
I'm canceling my flight to San Antonio right
You're
now.
crazy.
How dare
I'm
you?
surprised. I'm surprised.
How dare you, Paul? We have an opening. You are allowed.
But that furthers my point, though, Zach, is that more people were split on this film than they ever were on Heath Ledger's Joker. Like, Joker was one that everybody's wanted. It feels like for a really long time. So
That's interesting.
I don't want any.
But no, it's fair. No,
and I do want to just bring up one more point about scale, because we're kind of assuming these will all scale together. You know, you can kind of mix and match the Hot Toys and the Inart, but shout out to Joao again. He kind of did the side-by-side comparison of the preliminary measurements, and it looks like the Inart's bat signal is significantly taller and deeper than the Hot Toys one. And, you know, the Hot Toys one is pretty massive already, so that's just really interesting from a, you know, we just got to see how all these things pair up, because I know a lot of people are getting the DX19 to maybe go with that, you know, the Inart Joker, but they might force you to buy another Christian Bale Batman to go with your Joker. So we shall see.
Thule's actually saying that the bat signal by Hot Toys on Sideshow's site is already saying almost gone. So keep that in mind.
They haven't even started making those things yet. That's absolute fake news.
Wow.
I think that's just typical, you know, Sideshow's going to be Sideshow.
Kind
in
of
my
lame.
opinion.
Container ship sank in the ocean. Oh, wait, no, it didn't.
We did reach out to John from Queen Studios to confirm the heights for the Joker, Batman, and Gandalf, so we should have hopefully an answer for that very soon, and we'll be able to make sure everything lines up together. Let's move on. Hot Toys released after like 2 years plus Cable, and I'm going to be completely honest that first off, I'm sorry if you really like this figure, but this is honestly one of the worst things I've ever seen. This is famished, malnourished, you know, feed this man for $1 a day Cable. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen. The head is too big. It's taken way too long to come out. The body is too small. And I frankly, honestly, truly believe that the Toys Era one is a much, much nicer looking figure. I'm honestly disappointed that Hot Toys put this out in this state, especially when their main competition in 1/6 scale is putting out those banger Batman pictures, and their answer, so to speak, to that is releasing this. It's just bad. I have honestly like nothing good to say about this thing. It's absolutely terrible.
For the price of 1 coffee a day,
Wow.
you could feed Cable.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
More like a wire.
This is so bad.
How bad, Dean? Tell us.
All of it. All like the portrait is
Wait,
very
before he hold on. Sorry to interrupt. Before he tells us how bad this is, who makes this?
Hot Toys.
Okay, perfect.
Hey,
Now you
I
can go.
calls them like I sees them. I'm not
Okay.
a apologist.
I'm a give and take, baby.
It's so bad. It's so bad it makes that Darth Maul look good.
Bro, I'd rather a Darth Maul in my collection than this. Yeah, like the body is way too small. The sculpt, like, I don't know, it's very soft. Like, I feel like all the details could have been like sculpted, deeper. Does that make sense? Like, it just kind of looks it's too soft. Like, I don't.
Especially where the skin meets the robotics, the cybernetics. It looks
Yeah.
trash. It looks like it looks like a Marvel Legends figure.
Yeah, and then like the clothes.
Please don't insult Marvel Legends.
No,
like
I
that.
love Marvel Legends. But for this
Come on,
price,
come on, Paul. Look at this side by side that Ben gave us. Look at this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like he's got like a pencil neck and like a bobblehead. Motherfucker looks like a Funko Pop, dude.
For the record, it felt really awkward editing this photo together at like 2 a.m. beside my fiance who was sleeping.
Bro, you
It's like
know
at two
you
half
were rock
naked,
hard.
like,
Come
you're
on.
meshing it together, you know?
Like a diamond in the winter.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, but even his pants are like real baggy. I guess like I could say like the accessories are done well if I had to say something nice about this, but like yeah, like even the like Robotronic arm is like very skinny. It's like kind of scrawny. Like it's so bad. Like you said, the Toys Era one, it fucking knocks this out of the park. Like
Not the portrait though.
Even in
The
real life,
portrait-
his head does look bigger than his body.
No.
He got a big noggin.
yeah, but he's got a thick ass neck at least.
Yeah.
Like,
No way, guys.
and his face is too skinny. I mean, they did a good job. I think it's realistic looking and comparative.
This
other
doesn't
than
look
he's too thin.
anything like Josh
It's
Brolin
gone.
in this movie.
This looks
Maybe from a
100%.
tech. No, come on. Maybe from a technical painting aspect, probably.
Okay,
But look
this
at
looks
these
like
two
crap, but it looks better than the Toys Era one,
This looks like the dude from Avatar.
in my opinion. The portraits.
If I had to pick between the two,
I don't
I'd
think
go
so. I think
Toys
the
Era.
portrait on the Toys Era is pretty spot on.
Okay,
And the
Zach,
neck
please.
thickness and everything, but yeah, this.
Pull up the Toys Era one.
Please, Zach.
I think.
Yeah,
I think,
pull up the Toys Era.
I think
mean,
John's misremembering.
I think the
Not the
body is
picture.
still
Not the
trash.
pictures I'm looking at right now. That's for sure.
I will say, Hot Toys needs to stop with these figures where they, you have the potential to take their shirt off, but they really don't want you to do that. It's like, why even give us the option? Just like keep the shirt on, really focus on the tailoring, all the other stuff. Because if you're going to mail it in, much like the Darth Maul that I mentioned, like don't even bother giving us that option. Hide all that stuff and just allude to it with certain cuts in the clothing. Because this is not it. If this is the best effort we're going to get from them, it's just not good enough.
I
Do you
agree
think
with
it
you.
would have looked? Do you think it would have looked too bulky if he couldn't have taken his clothes off? Like, do you think it would have looked more in proportion? I should say. Is that part of the reason you're thinking it's looking so skinny?
They could use a fat suit or at least portions of a fat suit to bulk him up, right? But the fact that they try to have it both ways, really the figure suffers overall from all looks.
I don't really see the draw of having him without a shirt, anyways. I don't.
Can you? I'm sorry, Paul.
No, you're good. Yeah. You're good.
No. Go ahead.
Zach, I'm gonna send you. This is from
Zach, pull the.
Mariscal in hand pic.
Hold on a second. Pull the shot of him without a shirt on. Zach,
Of
please.
the mechanical.
Toys Era, so we can compare it.
Okay.
Yeah,
give
I
me a
agree,
second.
Paul. Though, why would you even want to
It's
pose him
weird.
with the
All,
shirt off?
all these
'Cause everything
photos
else looks...
of
I have
the
one here I can
mechanical
send you.
are like in 250p. It's the
Yeah,
everyday
under no
pixel.
circumstance would I be pulling the
Yeah,
clothing
can you send it
off
to me,
of
John?
cable
Yeah, I'm
to
sending it.
display him. It's just not.
Did he even
got all
take his
this
shirt
dope
off in the
armor.
movie?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
right
right
there.
there, bro.
Hello, it's right there.
Oh, just kidding. Sorry, I thought I was looking at the Toys Era on the left.
That's Inart right there.
I just sent it to you, Zach. No, this is a okay. Let me murder it first. This is unacceptable from Hot Toys. You make collectors wait 2 years,
2+ years. Yeah.
2+ years, and this is what you give. That being said, it mutilates the Toys Era one. Come on,
Come on, John.
come on. Look at take the shirt off. Let's see show
Hang
that
on.
picture.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah,
but
the shirt
it's
off is irrelevant, I think, but for a cable.
Well,
figure,
but that's what you're paying for, right? All that detail.
here
So
we go.
the way
I
he's
think it
he's
looks
too
better.
skinny. I think the portrait's better on this one, but either way, because look how they separate the torso from the.
Yeah, that looks weird.
Okay, articulation wise,
I'm with John.
Sure,
I'm with John on
but
this one.
bulk
No.
wise,
But look at the
Bro,
bulk
look at the
and
portrait.
look at the sculpting detail on Toys Era. Look at the Hot Toys. That looks terrible.
Yeah, but look at the portrait, man.
Yeah, it looks like a bro dude. that goes to
I'm
my
I'm
gym.
liking the Toys Era portrait more, to be completely honest.
That looks nothing
The
like
big-
him, but
I-
that's
that-
cool. Like everyone's entitled to their thing, but from if I had to pick, I didn't even watch the flipping movie, but from stills that I'm seeing, I'd go with the Hot Toys. But I'm just saying,
I'll tell you this.
him clothed, Jesus, Louises, that is really bad. Hot Toys, really bad. And you'd think 2 years plus is because you're trying to put the money, the R&D to make the best figure. No, you drop the ball. If I was you, pull it, please, and make the adjustments. Don't release this figure. You're gonna take a loss, but wow, this was atrocious.
Here's why I don't like the Hot Toys. They have that articulation. They just have it much higher. But I honestly think the aesthetics are obviously maybe not so good on that part of the body. But people don't articulate at their breasts. Like, I mean, you have a little bit, but that's not the main point of articulation of the torso.
No.
So you also get like an ugly seam, right? It's just hidden well in this photo. But I think, genuinely speaking, the bulk of the Toys era, and I think the portrait, and specifically the way the neck, like that silhouette of the
Thickness,
neck to the bottom of the sculpt, I think looks better. I just think that honestly, this it just looks bad. It honestly, for this to be out this long, you'd think they were going to give you the world, right?
This guy's going to be 180 shipped soon.
180.
I can't wait for the Basement Bros. The
Zach,
bargain bin bros.
I sent you an in-hand picture of the.
It doesn't
Toys
look
R
very good
one.
in that in-hand picture, but
I think it looks better than.
Hang on.
most.
I'm
Eric's not
canceling
very good
my order with
Eric's
Sideshow
not very good at
immediately,
photos, so.
right now.
I think
Eric
the Toys
is
R Us
better.
hair sculpt is better, actually. I think the hairstyle.
Yeah,
is a
I agree
little
with
bit
you.
better.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
But
pre-ordered
the
this
portrait's
one,
not
Paul?
there.
I did. I
portrait's
still
not
have it on
there. I
order
agree
with
with you
an
on that
NRD, but I'm canceling it.
Poor guy.
Call Sideshow up and tell them it looks fucking horrendous and that they need to give you the.
Well, it's
NRD
I'll try
back.
and make some content for the
You
channel.
could tell
I'll
the-
record the.
You can tell even
He'll
the belt
get his
is just
NRD
nicer.
back.
The
Oh,
belt
yeah,
and the
100%.
stitching in the pants and everything is nicer on the Hot Toys.
Yeah, the parachute pants. I mean, the body, the thinness of the body just doesn't work at all.
Yeah,
in
no.
this for
Not
cable.
at
It's
all.
just
Not
not
at
even
all.
close. The mechanical, the Toys era version, I think, for me personally, I don't think the face sculpt is 100%, but I think just overall it's a better match. And even if you're not trying to match it to the movie, but just a cable figure, I think it's a better cable figure, so to speak.
This
can see
portrait's a
That's a good
tad better than the one that Toys R Us put out. That photo we just looked, a tad better, but it is light years away from the actor.
Dean, were you
But
calling
better
out the
than Hot
pants
Toys,
too?
I think.
Yeah, like the body itself is just like sickly
Beefier.
looking. Yeah.
I
Crazy.
hate everything about that. Asmus released their Ring Wraith with a grand total of fucking 2 photos, one of which is in the box. Kind of a bit of a fail there, but I'm excited. It's really hard to see. It's like a black box, black photo, black background. They fucking dim the lights, so I don't know how I feel about this, but this is what they showed us. There's fucking more pictures of the box than the figure. So hopefully, I mean, it's Asmus's strongest points, right? So I think in theory it should be a good figure. Hopefully we'll get some more pictures.
Nice
of that
art
soon.
box.
I'm hoping
beautiful
on
art
this
box.
ASASCP.
As soon as
Oh, how does he say it?
ASAP as possible.
ASAP as possible. Thank you.
Yeah, this is
You're not willing to wait for Inart to see what they do?
fuck no. We don't need a $500
Bro, okay, I'll tell you this right now. I want all 9. So I have a couple of the third-party ones on pre-order. I want to get a couple of these. I'll probably end up getting an Inart one. I want all 9. So eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Because I'm sure you're going to get like die-cast armor and all that stuff. My
Well,
God.
this is
I think
diecast.
both of them have.
Oh, is it
diecast,
really?
so-
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
If you were
This is
going
my
to get just
favorite.
one, oh, go ahead, Ben.
I was gonna say this is my favorite Asmus, but it has no face sculpt, so that's probably.
Yeah.
Okay, let's bring up Exo 6.
Oh,
You're not wrong.
Riley
If you
reviews
were
the
just-
Hot Toys is built like me.
It's a fact. But if you're going to get one representation of the, kind of these characters in 1/6, wouldn't you just wait for Inart to do the Witch King? Like, I feel like that would be kind of the ultimate representation of this. Because this looks okay, but I feel like...
I think these are more iconic than the Witch King, in my opinion.
is that
Yeah,
what
the
they
Witch
said they were
King
going to do? Is the Witch King?
They haven't announced that, no, but I would just
No.
assume, because they're going to do the ring race, so I would just assume
I mean,
they're building to that.
Yeah.
Asmus does have the Witch King. But like to me, when I think of like the ring wraiths, I think of in the
Rider in
Fellowship
Black,
of the
bro.
Ring, right? They're all like fucking riding after him through the woods. They're
Horseback.
they're coming through the door at the Prancing Pony, fucking stabbing the pillows up in the mountaintop. What's it called, Zach?
The Prancing Pony.
No, the in the mountaintop.
The prancing.
Oh, sorry, that's the bar. Well, they stabbed the pillows in the bar. That's what
Yeah, I said the prancing pony, and then
I'm sorry. Weathertop.
Weathertop, thank you. Like all those are so fucking like iconic. The Witch King is very cool, and he's like the leader of the 9 ring wraiths. But you don't see him until much later. So like
You're
in
right.
my mind's eye, this is like how I picture the ring wraiths. So.
Okay, understood. To me, he's just like the premium version of their designs. But I
That's
get what you're
true.
saying.
And I think really the only main difference is like the helmet and like a mace. I think he has the same armor basically.
Exactly.
But they've done Asmus has done the Witch King before, so
I want to say that you're right. I want to say you're right.
Nope.
Plus, you could just 3D print the.
Yeah, you can 3D print the helmet.
John, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor.
Yes, sir. We want to thank 16 Corner. Their mission is to provide the best figures and collectibles to their customers. They offer great prices, great packaging, fast shipping, and best in the business customer service. Collecting Weekly listeners get 10% off in-stock figures while our show is live using code capital C, capital W, 10. Choose your figures, pay safely with PayPal, and you can leave the rest to them.
Thank you for that. So Hot Toys had a hyperdrive event that they posted on Facebook. A lot of people were freaking out because the what do you even call this? The N1 Mandalorian ship was in the photo there. People were freaking out. Apparently, no one knows about Google Translate, but we went ahead and translate it for you. So it's at their Tokyo venue. They were going to have some of the costumes that were used to film the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So that's obviously very cool for people that are interested in prop replicas or cosplay to be able to take photos of those. And they also said they were going to exhibit a 1/6 scale prototype. The latest high-end 1/6 scale figures from Hot Toys will be shown in the first time in Japan. Don't miss out on the powerful vehicles such as the N1 Starfighter. They also had event limited releases. So they had the 3 different current wave of Chrome Clone and Chrome Stormtroopers, along with some of the what are these Cos babies? So that was very cool. And at this point it's still prototype. I know people are very excited about this, but I've seen a lot of people taking this post out of context and being like, we're getting this, and I think it's probably not good to do that.
Well, the thing that they keep on showing it and keep bringing it up is a good sign.
Well, they had the Falcon on display for a while. I mean, they literally still have the Falcon on display, and that shot from what was it, Marco? Shanghai last week. They had the Falcon and the BVS Batmobile on display.
But they don't really market it. I don't find they really market it on like brochures and part of events and stuff.
I'll give you.
I'm
shocked. This is front page on their advertisement. It's
if they do this in 1/6, I'll be shocked because I think when I first hopped on the channel a few months in, I mentioned it before. Milk Magazine. Howard had his Milk Magazine interview, and he stated he's not interested in doing 6 scale vehicles, Star Wars vehicles, and that's why we never got the Falcon cockpit. We didn't get the Jedi Starfighter and stuff. So it would be cool to get this, but I would hope that he'd still revisit that Falcon cockpit because I was really interested in that.
But do you think though, them seeing companies like Jazz Inc. Dioramas or Inart and Queen that said they're going to start doing these bigger vehicles also, do you think that maybe has changed their mind on this? There might be a niche market for something like this, or even HasLab, right? $350. They raised millions of dollars for this project, and it's a massive display, right? I mean, I don't know how big the Jazz Inc. Falcon cockpit is, but I'd imagine the Razor Crest takes up a pretty comparable amount of space.
Well, it's them flexing. It's them saying, hey, I'm paying for the license, so guess what? I'm going to utilize my license, and you can suck it.
It's a good advertisement piece for them. But I will just keep saying this has a lot of dead space in it. Yes, it is massive, but in terms of them actually producing this, it feels like it could fit in a very large box. But compared to like if they were going to do many other ships that are a lot more significant, this feels like it's just at that threshold where they might actually be crazy enough to do it. So,
Marco, sorry, I'd be shocked. I'd expect them to do it in 1/12, not 1/6.
That's where I'd be at.
Yeah,
could be, but Yeah, hard to say.
I'm shocked at. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
I was gonna say I've heard people say though that they'd hang it on the wall, which I thought was cool.
Mhm.
Could like that kind of gave me some inspiration, like for just kind of what I could see in a display for somebody. I think it would be cool though if they actually marketed this thing at some point, like if they were gonna release it, to have it come with a hook and some instruction for something along those lines. Because for me, like I wouldn't have the surface real estate to bring something like this into my collection, but I maybe could justify putting it on a wall. And if it didn't come with something like a setup, I'd be really nervous about modding something like this to try and make something like that work. So
It'd have to be tastefully done, because you're gonna have the people that are gonna be viewing it from that angle where the hook would be. So it'd have to be. I'm trying to think.
Your best bet here would be some fishing wire support and some ceiling hooks, and supporting it from both turbines
100%.
and the back, the tail.
Yeah, like a triangle.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Cool. Let's move on. Our main topic of tonight is changes. How's your collecting habits changed throughout the years, going into first party, third party, whether you customize things, not necessarily scale, because I know we've talked about that a bit. For me, I feel like when I first got started, I was very nervous to handle these figures. And I remember my first like real figure was that I actually opened and like really enjoyed was the Sideshow Deluxe Darth Vader. And I remember getting it and just being completely blown away by this thing. I picked it up at Alien Worlds. I'd been eyeing it for a while, blown away by it. Unfortunately, there was an issue with the battery pack, and the way that which Sideshow is actually really smart for doing this, credit where credit's due. You have one switch on the back of the belt that controls all the lights on the figure from that one switch, and it's a battery pack on the back of the belt, so you're not taking the belt boxes off the belt. And one of the wires had come like from the connector loose, and I remember like freaking out. I got the John gloves on. Freaking like I'm doing surgery on this thing. I was so nervous. Cut to now, I think I'm much more confident handling these things. Like when I did that bodysuit mod on the Mando, I'm just fucking
I
ripping
was
this
about
thing
to bring that up, dude.
Monster,
you had that figure for like 0.7 minutes, and you had torn it all apart, like all over the place on your fucking desk. I was like, this
it's much
guy's
better
like-
though. It's
Oh,
much better
100%.
though. Yeah, I think I'm more confident with that. I think to be honest, for me, and I've said this a few times, but I think I'm really at that point with 6 scale that like very niche 1/6 scale products interest me. I'm not like, for every like 50 Hot Toys that we see, I'm just kind of like, maybe there's like one. Like I think right now Miles Morales from Spider-Verse is like a maybe, like a long maybe, but I even that being one of my favorite movies of all time is a hard pass, I think, especially with how cheap these things can get on the secondary market. So I've been getting a lot of third party stuff. I genuinely think, like, give it another year, I think I'll probably be buying mostly statues, getting rid of some 6 scale stuff. I've been looking at my collection, like, what don't I need? I took a few figures out, haven't really missed them. They're gonna be tough to sell for a lot of reasons. But yeah, I'm kind of hitting that twilight. I've been really enjoying D&D. We've been getting hardcore into that, and collecting the miniatures for that is really fun. Like all the different creatures that we've fought is really fun for me. 3D printing's a neat little hobby, and then statues. Like I'm really enjoying the statue stuff that I've been getting recently. So,
And you have a history in miniatures.
yeah, that's actually how I learned to paint and kind of do all these things. So
He's
it's
been
kinda going
handling
back
a
to my
miniature
roots.
for years too. So.
That's what I was going to
Oh
say.
my god!
Some say 3 is enough, Marco. How dare you?
It's plenty.
would
It's
say.
plenty.
3 3/4. Give it credit where credit's due.
What is
good
it
day.
about statues you like more? Would you say, Zach?
I just hate like dealing with material problems, and that's why I really like the Gandalf figures, and I'm willing to invest a lot of money into them because, like, I don't have to worry about necessarily leather ripping. I don't have to worry about like, if anything, if the outfit deteriorates, it's almost better, right? I would get Hot Toys figures and like have a pose that I would love to do with them, and I'm like, well, Darth Vader, for example, hands on the belt. Then you hear like, oh, like it's leather's flaking, or BVS
Right.
Batman. I've seen so many reports this year of the BVS Batman figure, just the suit just deteriorating completely down to like the base layer, whatever it is.
Wow.
And I do genuinely like to pose my figures, but it's like I can't. And so, and I do like the dynamic poses. So I that's kind of why I want to get into statues more. Like I can have this T-Rex pose like that forever, and outside of occasional figures falling on it or the wife knocking a tooth out, it's fairly safe, long term. But figures like, there's one figure that I have that I just like never touch. The Rocketeer, one of my favorite figures that I own, but it's an all pleather jacket. They don't make that jacket anymore. It's very expensive to find. I hate touching that thing. Like anytime I have to treat it, the pleather, I just like stressing that I'm gonna lift the arm and just start flaking. So, it's a fun hobby, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like I'm definitely changing more towards statues, and obviously, with the Patreon chat, a lot of us are starting to get into statues. Paul, John is like really. I mean, John's always been into statues, but he's really hitting it hard lately, and I feel kind of, I don't want to say let down, but just nothing has excited me with Hot Toys, like genuinely excited me.
Yeah.
I think Inart, the Gandalf Crown Series Asmus, and this Batman have been the figures that have excited me most the past few years, but that's 3 figures out of like maybe the 100 that we've covered this year, versus like statues. Like I think like once a month I'm like, God damn, that is an amazing statue. Like I genuinely want to own this piece. Space is very limiting, but I think I'm at that point where I'm looking at this these Detolfs and I'm thinking, damn, like if I could fit another garage shelf in here, that's potentially 8 more statues, right? It's I don't know. I feel like I don't know. 6 scale's just been really, really kind of just meh for me lately. Like I'm not gonna stop the show. Like we love the show, we love doing this, but I just don't like back in the day, like I would leave a movie theater and be like, damn, I need a figure of that. But now I'm like, that was a cool movie. Like I don't need a figure of that. And I think that's the biggest change for me is like, I don't need to have everything. And I feel like that's a good place to be, because I would buy stupid amounts of Hot Toys all the time and then buy and sell and buy and sell. So kind of a meme. I feel like I'm much less impulsive, and I think that's pretty helpful.
There's so many more properties now too, right? Like it's just kind of hard to keep up to like want a lot of things.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say is we were bombarded with movie after movie after movie after movie. It's like Star Wars, Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Marvel. It's like, I think after a while it got kind of like exhausting. Like, fuck, like I want this figure or this character, but there's like 10 other that, I want to add. And I got that way with Marvel very quickly in 6 scale, where I was like, I'm really only going to collect like these specific ones. Star Wars, it got to that point too where I was like, I need to really focus. I've been saying this for years. My Star Wars collection. So I have prequels, mostly clones, and then A New Hope. I do have one Boba Fett, but yeah, because I was like, bro, I'm just gonna be buying. Hey, Lane with the super chat. Zach knows he needs 2000 TMS statue. That's
maybe
the D&D one that John shows, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe if it was Bahamut, maybe.
Yeah, that was a cool statue, but
not for 2000 though.
Yeah, I have and I do still really love 6 scale, and I don't think I'll ever stop collecting 6 scale. But I just have so much more fun with like smaller scale stuff. It's cheaper, it's easier to get usually, not all the time. But bro, those fucking prices are getting up there sometimes, where I'm like, I can't justify, like the Dragon Ball Z line I talk about. I got priced out like a year and a half ago.
About 2 years for me, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I love that line and I love those characters, but dear Lord, like it's crazy. In fact, I was just watching a short video on YouTube about Figma, because I like collecting Figmas. The first Figma costs $35. Now they're about 90 to like 115, and that was like I believe 2008. So it's been a while, but like I think price has really changed my collecting habits. Where I'll see something, I'm like, I can't justify that. And there are things like my Chigokin VF1 where I was like, I absolutely have to fucking own this thing, so I will pay whatever I have to. And I ended up spending like $4 something on it. It was almost embarrassing.
Does anybody know CPR? Dean's Chigokin.
God damn it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's a Heimlich maneuver. But.
Yeah. But yeah, I think just really like figuring out which characters like I really need. Like the Sonic, I was like, I need a really cool Sonic in my collection. So I got one. It was only $30. 60, but I waited until it went on sale, right? And I think that's kind of where I'm at is like this character I could live without. This one I need to have. And whatever scale I find it in, or if I get a good deal, you know, I'll do it. Like the Punchline, $1,500 statue, like there's no other Punchline out there. Like I fell in love with that statue. So it's like I definitely need to own this. Like it opened my whole world up to DC because I wasn't a Batman fan, or you know, and I saw the statue. I was like, yo, that looks fucking badass. Who is that? And I started, you know, reading the books and watching videos and learning all this stuff. And so that's kind of like an important piece for me is like, oh, now I have, you know, Batman's on my desk now that I didn't have. I mean, you could literally go back to like episode 1 of when I joined the show, and like I'm always dogging on Batman. Like it was like a point in the chat where people were like, I can't believe you don't like fucking Batman. So yeah, finding out what's important, and that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same kind of mode as Zach. I think when I started collecting back like early 2000s, you know, I stopped after I'm an 80s kid, so all that stuff from the 80s I collected as a kid and kept some of it, but picking it back up, I was chasing the comic book look and feel of the characters that I really loved. And Marvel Legends, the Toy Biz, those things really spoke to me at that time, and I picked, I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of figures up over the last 20 years. And I've got totes. All my cabinets behind me are full of totes, full of Marvel Legends and those 12 scale figures. And I think I've realized over the last couple of years as I've gotten more into statues, because I went through the cycle of buying 6 scale as well. And my whole thing with it was they're perfect representations. The quality's great. You know, they're beautiful. I hate posing figures. I'm no good at it. It's not something I just have a love for. I found it annoying when I'd pull them out. I get frustrated. I'm just not talented at it. And it wasn't something I felt like I was getting better at. And it, as a grown man, it was like, this is annoying. Why am I spending this time? I'm spending $300 on a figure and then getting annoyed about it, sticking it back in the box, and then wondering why I spent that money, you know, and I've got to be accountable 100%. For that. And the statues spoke to me as a perfect representation. It's posed, you know, the master sculptor put it together and made it perfect, and I don't have to futz with it. And I get that same high that I get out of reading the comic books and seeing that artwork. You know, it's the artwork brought to life, really. And that's not to say I'll sell everything that I have that's not a statue, but I definitely have slowed down. This was the first year I canceled BBTS orders for stuff. I never would go back and cancel anything I pre-ordered, even if I just kept it in the box. And this is the first year I just went through and canceled dozens and dozens of items that I just thought, what am I getting? I don't even have the space for them. And I think, yeah, just chasing that comic book look and feel. When I crack open any of my books, I still get that great feeling of seeing these characters and these stories that I love. And I think I was chasing that throughout all these other, you know, collectible items. But I've fallen in love with things like some of the Star Trek figures. I know the Exos, it's a whole other thing. And Ben and I have talked about that a little bit, but I really love, you know, Star Trek as a property. I love Doctor Who. There's still some things I have on order for 6 scale, but I've been selling most of them off. And I think kind of like Zach said, they're going to be very niche items for me because they got to mean something, you know, for me to spend the time to try and figure out getting them the way I want them to look. But
100%.
So I started back, my Hot Toys journey started back in 2008 with the Iron Man Mark III, I think it was. That was the first Hot Toys figure, and downhill from there. Then you start dabbling in some statues. I think the first one I got was the Mary Jane by Sideshow Collectibles, Adam Hughes. the comiquette. See, where I've changed now is, I still appreciate figures. So I've always dabbled in figures and statues, and I've always appreciated figures and still do. The thing for me now is it's more business practices and learning, right? It's been a journey. I started collecting in my teens. And the way I grew up, my dad collected comics, and it was always a big thing. When he pulled out his comic collection, it was always like, wow. He kept everything straight and in the plastics, and you wouldn't touch it. So I kind of carried that into my collecting. I was in my teens not pulling the stuff out of the box, and it just kept building and building, and I was able to curate this collection that I was able to maintain in such good shape and so forth. And then you have business practices like Hot Toys are doing now, where every other release is just mutilating the original release that you purchased. So for me, I think twice before I spend my money on 6-scale figures, because it's gotten to a point where now you may drop $300-400 on a figure, and in 3 to 5 years that just I'm not going to say it's not collectible, but the money that you've invested in there is not retained. So I still collect both, but I'm really looking at statues more now, and especially when you get your first 3rd scale statue in hand, it is life changing for your collection. If you have space, it takes the collection to a whole new level. And I think as well, what I touch on the price. The prices that we're paying for figures now are getting a little to the point where you got to really weigh your options. I'm getting a figure here for $450 when I can invest maybe a little $250 more, and I can pick up a nice quarter scale statue from Sideshow. I'm not saying go prime one at $1,000 a pop. But, Sideshow's pieces are fairly priced. They're at a price where it's fair. It makes it convenient for someone who's looking to maybe pivot their collection from figures to statues. It's a very fair price point with some great work by some amazing artists. So you got to weigh that option. You got to say, hey, am I going to pay $450 for this figure that it's not limited? They could reissue it. They could do a 2.0 where it's not going to really retain its value, and maybe get a statue that's limited and so forth, and that if it's well taken care of, the value's preserved. That's all stuff that I look at. Again, I still do figures as well, but I'm very picky now as to the pieces that I buy.
You want to go, Marco, or myself?
Go ahead, Ben.
You reached for
Just
it.
go,
It's like
just
the
go.
quick draw McGraw. Sorry. So it's been this weird journey for me, because when I was a kid, I had a lot of toys. Like, toys were the one thing that I looked forward to at Christmas time and birthdays. It's what I asked for, right? Like, I wanted action figures. Like, I wanted to have a collection of things that meant something to me, that I thought were cool, that I could have fun with and play with and use my imagination with and all that good stuff. And I lived out in the country, so there wasn't a lot to do out in the country other than play with toys and go for a walk down the gravel road, right? Like, there's not much to do out there. So, and this was like before internet, obviously aging myself a little bit. So, I had some crazy like memory boxes filled with toys, kind of leading right up to college days. And then in 2008, I was gifted the DX02 from an ex, which that relationship went pretty sideways. So after about 6 months, I actually sold that figure, because I kind of like associated the figure as a gift from that person, which was kind of awkward. So I didn't get another Hot Toys until 2012, which was my DX12. So the next Batman, or maybe not the next Batman, or maybe it might have been in between. Either way, the DX12, and I loved that figure. It was something that like you guys said earlier, I was super gentle with, and like really worried about damaging it, and like really careful on how I displayed it, and had a great time with it. But at the time, I was still in school. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a great job yet. And so I ended up like collecting Lego. I went to the Lego store. I'd pick up a set every weekend to try and amass kind of a collection of Lego superheroes. And I'd played Lego superheroes, or Lego Batman 2. I think that was one of the first Lego video games I'd ever played. And I liked the idea of having like all of the rogues gallery, all of the characters that you could kind of amass. And I grew this crazy collection of Lego figures, which I still have. I have like over 300 characters. And what I found with Lego was that I was having a hard time displaying it in what felt like a classy way. Like, you know, if I'd have a girlfriend over at the time, or my buddies over for drinks or whatever, you know, I'd had this like kind of display of what felt like toys, and I just had a hard time justifying it to my friends, which should never be the case, right? If they're your friends, they should care about you and love you and care about what you like and whatever. It's just the wrong set of friends, I think. And so as I got older, I started to progressively not care as much, and I started making more money. And that's when I really started looking back at Hot Toys again, because I still had this DX12. He was a standalone, and I started dating my current now fiance, Shauna, and we had seen Deadpool 2 together. It was a film we saw together in theaters. We had a great date night, and I loved the movie. I thought it was great, and she ended up buying me the Deadpool 2 figure. So of course that kind of just like knocked me off off the cliff, right? Like, there we go. Like, now I've got 2. Well, you can't just have 2. Now you're gonna want 3, right?
Did she pre-order cable for you as well, or?
She did not pre-order cable for me.
I hate to hear it. Thank God.
Right? She would have been disappointed. But then, you know, we kind of fast track up till even just yesterday. So I've been thinking about doing like a collection room tour of my room, because you guys only ever get to kind of see from like this perspective, right? And I've got a lot of stuff in random corners and cool shit to look at. So I was trying to figure out a way that I could do a funky room tour. And I was having a hard time once again with all of the stuff that recently I've collected. Like, I've got all these Batman the Animated Series figures. I've got all my 6-scale figures. I've got my 300 Lego figures. I got that Venom a couple weeks ago, which is huge. And I've got the helmets. Like, I've got a whole bunch of stuff, and I was having a hard time making it look classy. So I did what Paul said earlier. Like, I started pulling things aside, and kind of what Zach said, you know, trying to decide like what I could jive with, what I could live without, and kind of created a kind of a little pile, which I've been slowly selling off for the last week, so that I can create some more space for some of these incoming things that I've got, like the Inart Joker, and some of these other options that I want. I think for me, the lesson that I've learned is quantity is definitely not meant for me. It's going to have to be quality over quantity. I'm going to have to be very selective, because I don't have a huge display space. But once things start to feel cluttered, it starts to lose that, like for me anyways, that sense of like pride in my collection. I start to feel like I'm almost embarrassed by how much I've spent on it. And so I have to keep it clean. I have to be kind of selective. I don't think I'll ever stop collecting 1/6 scale. I love it. I love posing. I like being able to physically touch the figure. I worry about statues being really delicate. I think I'm klutzy. I would definitely knock it over and break it. Like, it would be devastating to watch. I would never do an unboxing like John did for that Thor on his kitchen counter. I was sweating just like watching him, dude. Like, it was crazy. But I think, as I said, going forward, you'll hear me be more honest even than I am already about things that I definitely won't buy, even if I can appreciate it at a distance. And when I say I'm happy for those people that are collecting it, it's because I literally am. I'm excited that I get to see it with other people's collections and not necessarily feel like I have to commit to it on my own. I think the trap for watching streams like ours, and not necessarily ours, maybe because we're pretty blunt sometimes, but other streamers that I've seen out there, is sometimes you can fall into that trap of jumping on the hype train, and then suddenly you have way more in your collection than you actually need. So, yeah, that's it.
And I will say a lot of what Ben said really, resonates with me, and I would say describes my overall experience and kind of my love for 1/6 and display stuff. So I won't cover that same ground, but I will say, I'm probably the newest collector here, but in terms of collecting as an adult, but I was collecting really, really hardcore when I was a kid, going on Toys R Us toy hunts like I was Ben Thomas with my dad. And I think I've said before, he and I used to collect these starting lineups, which were sports figurines, but I remember, going to find X-Men figures and Batman and Spider-Man. And so like the 1/6 figures themselves just connect with me way more because I just have those fond memories of, collecting action figures. I have tried to dabble with statues a bit in terms of like seeing them in person. So I've, gone to a few shops, they had some on display at Disneyland. When I was at Comic-Con, I don't know if I mentioned that I went there, but they had a bunch of them on display as well. And my eyes kept going back to the Hot Toys. Like I always wanted to just go look at the Hot Toys. Those are what excited me. Damn it, Dean. And so, yeah, there's just something about 1/6 figures. Now, again, it's still early days in my collecting. I've only been collecting for a few years, but those just speak to me. I'm not a very gifted poser, but I like the ability to kind of mess with the figure, and you can kind of refresh it and move it around in your collection. And so it's just more accessible to me than a statue is, where it's more of a finite piece. So yeah, we shall see what the future holds. But I think for now, and even also looking at smaller scale, those didn't speak to me as much because I like the realistic head sculpts. So Hot Toys and now Inart, and we'll see what other companies. Oh my gosh, what's the other iconic? Like companies like that are really providing me kind of what I want to see in an adult collectible. So
100%.
That's a weird thing. We're probably going to get flagged for me saying that, but yeah, I think that's kind of where my lane is right now, and we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, I think those are all good points. I think each of us has our own reasons for doing it. The nostalgia hits each of us a little bit differently depending on the type of collectible and what our childhood was like and what we did when we were kids and stuff like that. And I really appreciate hearing everyone else's perspective. It's nice to also hear validation too of a way I've been feeling, especially going back to that clean look like Ben was talking about. Like that's the number one thing that when people come over who haven't seen my collection, that's the one thing I get so nervous about is like I have so much stuff packed into my shelves that it looks a little crazy. And it is crazy kind of, and my plans to scale all that stuff back. And I love the looks, of seeing like Ben's and, you guys' collections of how clean they are and, well curated. And
I do like how your collection looks though. Honestly, Paul, it looks really, really nicely done and behind glass. I feel like that always elevates it,
Yeah, it just needs a little cleaning, a little cleanup, I think.
Wow.
A little organization.
I mean, if you run out of space, just feel free to send me that back.
Yeah, I'll just load up a box and
send
each of you something.
Box or two. Yeah, there we go.
Sure. Well, and then having friends in the collecting community is also like, in a great way. Shout out to Zach. I mean, he messaged me the other day to be like, I found this figure. Like, this is one you're looking for, right? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like thinking I don't really have the money for it, but I can't miss the opportunity to get it. So yes, please get it for me. Thank you. And suddenly I've got another figure in my collection that I probably don't absolutely need, but like it's from Zach, so when the Oxfather calls you accept the call. And then also, which is nostalgic in itself, but it's also the Phantasm from Batman the Animated Series, which is a badass character, so I'm very excited to have that.
International stardom to also get you a great deal on it.
You did. You of course talked him down. I was like, that's amazing.
I was like, $40 buddy, $40. That's the guy that walks in the door, not the Oxfather. Look at this thing. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, I can't wait. That's so cool.
Damn, that's badass. Yeah, man, where'd you get that?
Awesome.
At Buddy's, when I went to that D&D store, when I told you to come meet me, and you're like,
Zach, I'll give you $20 more than whatever Ben's giving you.
Okay, Zach is like, yo, I'm going to this place that's right by your house. I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
I said, I think it's by your house.
And so I like pulled up. It's like a fucking 25-minute drive.
I said, I think it's by your house. One. And two, what is 25 minutes between friends? You could have gone. We're D&D. We could have made some content there.
With gas prices the way they are?
Time's valuable, buddy.
Dean, you said your favorite thing to do is drive.
I'm trying to help you, brother.
Thing.
It is
trying
my
to help
favorite
you be
thing,
you.
He's trying to help you be happy.
So we're not going to talk spoilers, but we also had nothing to talk about today. Hence, we're done with the show 30 minutes early. But we're going to talk She-Hulk and House of the Dragon. Spoiler-free. Quick thoughts. I haven't seen She-Hulk. So if anyone here wants to tell me what they thought about it, I'm all yours.
It's not great.
You're so wrong.
Wow. I'm surprised. Okay. All right. This is going to be more divisive than I thought.
It's not bad. It's not.
It's one of the better Disney Plus shows, I think. But
agreed, Paul.
It's not.
It's not great though.
It's too woke for Dean.
It's not unenjoyable to watch. It's very preachy. I will say that.
100%.
What's the preachy part though? That's what I'm curious to hear you say. What is preachy?
Like when you treat the audience like they're the problem. Does that make sense? Like
it's too 2022.
It's like I'm a woman and people talk down to me, and it's like look, I understand that's a problem. I'm not saying it's not, but like
the guys watching She-Hulk
like,
are probably not the problem. Yeah.
You're exactly, bro. That's what it is. It's
That's
like,
how I
bro,
felt,
I'm
yeah.
sitting here wanting to watch the show. I don't need you to lecture me about how women are treated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I get it. That's a problem. They want to get the word out. Whatever. That's if it was that big a problem, I wouldn't. Yeah, get the word out. I wouldn't be watching the show. But I also feel like it's like lecturing the wrong people. But they also kind of just like shit all over the Hulk for no reason.
Steamroll.
Yeah,
like
steamroll, I think, yeah.
The motherfucker. In fact, someone made a meme about it where he like punches that big flying thing in the Avengers movie, but can't stop a Jeep from running him over. Like, it's embarrassing. It's honestly embarrassing. That being said, it's enjoyable to watch. It, you know, you can make the argument, well, it's his cousin, he doesn't want to hurt her. Sure. We'll see where it goes. Again, it's not unenjoyable to watch. I had fun watching it, but I mean, you can't just be amazing because it's not. That's my 2 cents.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I feel similarly. I mean, I'm giving it a chance. I think there were good things about it for sure. I think the CG was better than they had presented when, it was, being showcased and stuff. So I think that's good. And I think it has potential, but I feel like I'm getting set up again to just be disappointed. It just feels like another Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett. Like, that's me personally, but yeah, I'll give it a chance though, for sure.
I will say, Paul, the Marvel Disney Plus shows for me personally have gone, most of them really, really, not, I won't say great, but really, really enjoyable first episode, a bunch of subpar episodes, something really cool happens in the middle, and then you're hyped for the finale, and then it's a letdown. Everything but Loki has really had that pattern for me personally.
I feel the same way. I actually really enjoyed Loki, compared to all the others, and I know that's not popular either, but yeah,
I love Loki. I love Loki.
I think.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's trying to bring in a new audience again. That's kind of what their intention is. Mm-hmm. It's fun. I don't like what they're doing with the Hulk. The way they're depicting him. I also would have liked it just to be a tad more comic accurate, in the sense to the whole situation where she becomes She-Hulk. They kind of give you a little tidbit there. I would have liked that to be a little bit more comic accurate, but I understand where they're coming from because they have a short amount of time, so there's only so much they can do. But yeah, for me, I think this is, again, Disney, an attempt to bring in a new audience viewing the show, and not 100% for the fans, is what I say.
Yeah, which makes sense. Trying to bring in a younger generation makes sense. They've got to continue to build their fan base, I think. But some of us might be aging out, myself included, of some of this stuff. But
I went in with pretty low expectations, though. I think I wasn't necessarily expecting this to be my favorite Marvel show of all time. So when I watched the first episode, I just wanted to have some kind of popcorn entertainment, not think about it too hard. I didn't find it to be preachy, to be honest, Dean, but again, probably because I wasn't really thinking about it that hard. I was just willing to laugh with the jokes, kind of willing to roll with the kind of the story beats. I liked hearing a little bit more about some of the backstory of, not to give spoilers away, but some of the other characters that have been involved with Hulk and some of the time that we just haven't got to see yet. I think that's kind of fun. I thought it was weird that I think she's like oddly more attractive as the Hulk than she is as the lawyer. I didn't expect a huge green lady to be so pretty, but I'm down with it. I'm down with it.
Boy.
I like big green women. Apparently, no worries. But I think it's worth the watch. I don't understand some of the hate for it. I definitely can understand why some people have liked it, but I don't think it's going to be the number one show. It reminds me of like Ally McBeal type sitcom entertainment, but with a green Hulk lady instead.
I think it might have one of the creators of Ally McBeal involved with the show as well.
Right.
No, I'm serious. I think
it's got that feel.
But it feels like a sitcom, right? And I like that maybe that's what they were trying to go for. I thought the fourth wall break, which I don't think is a spoiler, was surprising and a little off-putting.
That's part of the comic book.
I see. I didn't know that though. So like, I'm not a She-Hulk comic fan, so I didn't realize that. And like for me, that's always been like Deadpool as a character that fourth wall breaks for me, right? So when she turned to the camera and started talking to me, I was like, whoa, like that tripped me out a little bit. But
was it because you were too high and it just cut you off? Probably.
You're probably not wrong. All right, I smoked a lot of green right before I watched this lady who is green, and I'm like, what is happening?
Fucking murdered him, Marco.
I hate to see it.
What the hell?
Question for you guys though: would you want a She-Hulk 6-scale figure in your collection?
Hell yeah, bring it on.
I want a 2-pack. Her as the lawyer and the Shield.
Oh yeah, actually.
Right. And to Dean's point,
if the show gets better, maybe, but as of right now, no.
Well, and to your point, Dean, like he in the 2008 Edward Norton Hulk movie, he ripped 2 military jeeps in half and then like used them as gauntlets.
Yeah,
so
he
like
swung a tank by its
by
its turret.
Yeah. But you also don't expect that necessarily. Like it wouldn't make for much of a show if Hulk was just running around raging all the time. Like they like they're. That character
he's
would
evolved.
also burn out pretty quickly. It has to evolve, right?
Yeah,
so,
I think there are necessary things they need to do with the character. Obviously, he's not just the Hulk anymore, right? He's Bruce Banner, and Bruce Banner's kind of a pussy, you know?
Yeah. And so I will say before I dive into my thoughts, I think Tully in the chat said or was asking if I didn't like Loki. No, I think Loki was the best MCU show so far. So sorry if
I was going to say, I thought you said that before.
No, I more meant like the finale was not a disappointment. Like most, if not all, other Disney Plus shows, that finale was an absolute banger. So no, sorry for misrepresenting that. But I will say I really, really enjoyed this first episode. There was like so much to like. I thought the characters were really fun, and I thought the CG looked great. I was very worried about that, as I know most of us were. I will say her arrogance was a bit off-putting to me as well. And so maybe like part of my male brain was like, oh, this is preachy. But, you know, kind of reflecting back on it, it's not so unlike like Tony or Strange kind of being really arrogant, like Strange with the, what's the name of Tilda Swinton's character? Yikes.
Jesus Christ.
The Ancient One? Is that the character from Doctor Strange 1 where he's kind of, you know, she's got all this knowledge, but he's kind of feeling like he knows better because he's got this other perspective. So, you know, also someone being married to a very headstrong woman, it reminded me a lot of her. And so I know Gigi is like all over the show. She really loves it as well. So I'm very optimistic about where this is going. And I will say, I saw that they reshot most of this pilot episode, so the fact that they were able to put together such an enjoyable, like coherent, maybe not completely coherent, but it's an MCU show, pilot episode was really promising. So yeah, really, really looking forward to see where it goes.
Bro, that second end credit scene though, or mid credit, I guess.
Don't spoil it.
Oh,
incredible!
I really did enjoy that. Yeah.
There's an end credit scene.
Oh, you got to go back and watch
it.
it.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
House of the Dragon
debuted
debuted on Sunday, and apparently a lot of people with Amazon devices couldn't watch it. It was crashing really bad on the Amazon stuff, but I got a chance to watch it Sunday night, mostly because the friggin' dinguses in the Patreon chat started talking about it, and I was like, one of y'all motherfuckers is going to slip up. Thankfully no one did, but I'm glad I watched it. I was watching it again today. I'm about halfway through the rewatch, and really, really enjoying it. There's some weird tone stuff that I feel like is probably a very minor spoiler, but I'll probably mention it if we do like a spoiler stream for it. But some of the tone in the opening and then the middle's kind of weird. But overall, I think the characters are great. I think it's great to be back in Westeros. I think the show definitely has some legs, and I think it's great to see the dragons on the big screen, small screen. Great to see the dragons again, I'll say that. and
Bro, proper sized dragons
Real,
too.
yeah. They did a great job on the dragons.
Like when you see these dragons, Daenerys' dragons are like baby dragons, even at their biggest.
Well, it's interesting because I was watching a video today. Drogon was obviously quite large, right? Like, you know, compared to like a normal person.
That
But he
boy
was
thick.
6. He was 6. And Balerion was 300, and he was like 8 times bigger than Drogon.
You
so
fucking
it's like,
huge, dude. I think his
that
neck
motherfucker
is like the size of Drogon.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So, definitely a great show. I think this does have a bit of those. I don't want to say. It felt a bit forced, a bit some of the themes that they're trying to go for, like, but obviously, I'll just leave it at that. I think the show's gonna move past it, but there was a few moments that I was like, I feel like that was just said, you know, just to try to make like a 2022 point. But overall, I think it was I think you've seen it, Dean, or no?
Yeah.
Okay, because it was mentioned like 3 or 4 times. It was like, Jesus Christ, this is I get it.
Yeah.
I get
Was
it.
there like a Starbucks cup on the counter or something?
We'll talk after the show, but it was fantastic. I think the special effects look great. I mean, I think the budget for the show is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know how many episodes they're going to be, but you know, I'm thrilled to have more content. I think the main actress, beautiful, great actress. Her, I guess it's her guard, like the guy that's assigned to her. I think just the way that he portrays the character, fantastic. He's one of my favorite characters. He only had like 3 lines in the whole show, and her uncle, I think, is also. I'm not a big fan of the actor, but just in the show, I'm like, damn,
Matt
this guy's.
Smith.
He was a Doctor Who, right?
He was Doctor Who, yeah.
It's weird
So
seeing him
And
in this role.
Morbius's best friends.
Yeah. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah, I have kind of zero expectations for this show. I don't know. I mean, I didn't even know anything about Game of Thrones when I started watching it, so I don't feel like I'm carrying anything over from Game of Thrones since they're so far disconnected from each other. In terms of time, obviously, the families are the same, the houses. It's cool to see like names from Game of Thrones. So you're like, oh, okay, now I know why they named him like Rickon or, you know, whatever. So yeah, I have no expectations, so I'm really excited to see how things start playing out. So I'm hopeful. I keeping my guard up because I was so hurt by season 8 of Game of Thrones that, you know, I've put up a wall in my heart. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's fucking sad. It's fucking brutal. It's great. I'm super excited.
Sorry, Dean. I feel like I spaced on you like just ever so slightly. I thought you said that you hadn't watched Game of Thrones, so you didn't go into it with preconceived.
When I started Game of Thrones, I didn't read the books. I didn't know anything about it.
Oh, I understand. I see what you mean. Okay,
And
I thought
this
you meant
is the
before you
same
watched
thing.
this, you hadn't seen it, and then you said
No.
season 8. Yeah,
No.
sorry. I was like, what?
Because this is also based on a book.
Gotcha.
Which is weird because I watched.
Is it?
Oh, it's definitely based on a book.
It is,
but,
yeah.
But at the end of the show, they had like a behind the scenes, and it totally sounded like it wasn't based on a book.
Wait,
And
wait,
I was
wait.
like, which is it?
Are you talking about this show is based on a book?
Yes.
It is.
Is it really? Okay, because I know the last few seasons of the main Game of Thrones show, they kind of had to do their own thing because George R. Martin.
Bro,
fucking
Jon
can't
Snow
finish.
is still dead in the books. They fucking winged more than half of that show.
Yeah. Is
So
the book
I think
the same?
Fi-
The same name? Sorry.
Fire and Blood, I believe, is the name of the book. It's still
yeah.
written by George R. R. Martin.
Oh, you're right. Look at that. Now, is this pretty true to that book?
I have no idea. I didn't read the book, so I don't know.
I couldn't say.
Dinguses. Anyways.
Well, you don't know either.
Yeah, but I'm not the one saying it's from a book.
But that's just a fact. I'm not.
Yeah, but I thought you knew about the book. I thought you did the homework for the show.
I literally
I
said
knew
I
all this
didn't.
stuff.
I didn't read it though.
Okay.
Don't give up on me now, Dean.
You're giving up on me. What the fuck?
And well, there's not a clip for that. So.
Okay. Did anybody else watch it?
Yeah,
I
I
haven't
watched
seen
it.
it
I
yet,
thought I thought they killed it. I thought it was great. The costume, I mean, just they suck you right into that world. You know, the costumes are fantastic. The knights' armors. I mean, like Matt Smith's suit of armor, like it looked like a Mythic Legions figure, like come to life. It was cool.
The only thing I didn't like is his helmet was a little bit too big for him.
Well, yeah,
every scene he was in, I was like, bro, can they get this guy some EVA foam to make this shit fit a little bit better?
Yeah, but I thought it was great. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Obviously, the budget, they've given it a proper budget. The effects are great, and the world building is amazing. So
yeah, I feel
I'm
exactly.
looking forward to it.
I feel exactly the same. Ben, you said you hadn't seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it yet, but I feel like if after all the hours of Elden Ring that Dean and I have played together, if he's excited about the dragon in the show, then it makes me want to watch the show even more. I'm not
To be fair, they are still wyverns. They did get that wrong. But that's just the
In
nerd
universe, they call them dragons, though.
Well, I'm just saying, lore-wise, they're not
Well,
dragons.
You should have adjusted your glasses when you said that, Dean.
The graphics.
Do your homework.
Pablo wanted that.
Oh man, perfect.
We delivered.
Yeah, I will say, like, I kind of echo what everyone else has said. Like, really enjoyable first episode. I kind of went in knowing like, oh shit, here we go, all this lore that I'm either gonna have to remember or try to pick up, and like I was overwhelmed. And it definitely starts and feels like the beginning of the original Game of Thrones series, but then as it gets going, it felt like familiar, like season 5-ish, like season 6, when the show was really rolling and really, you know, on the politics. I was like, damn, this is kind of like almost an homage to when it was really good stuff. And so I'm really hopeful that this show is going to be a banger. And really, yeah, the cast, they nailed everything. Obviously the production values. I don't think I was just prepared mentally for how gnarly Game of Thrones is. I think I forgot how like absolutely brutal this shit is.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, they just went all out for it. Like, no, if you're watching this for the first time, if this is your introduction to Game of Thrones or to this world, you're knowing what you're in for.
Thule, thank you for tuning in
Bro,
tonight. Have a good rest of your night. Have a great day at work tomorrow, buddy.
Jumbo. There was a moment in the
Wait, no,
show
Lie Boys,
I was
baby.
watching it. Oh yeah, sorry. And I was like, man, I miss it when Game of Thrones had some titties, and then immediately just
doggy style.
Fucking, yeah, dude, just fucking.
Dude, that chick had
getting
some long
railed.
ass
I
nipples.
was like,
long ass.
damn.
She wasn't bad though. She wasn't bad. Come on.
No, she was bad, bro. Are you kidding me?
In Game of Thrones, that quickly went away. It was like they wanted to grab the audience with some sexy stuff.
What a shame.
And then, like, I want to say, like, after season 2, you don't see, like, sex and titties and nudity very much after that.
Back when cable shows just had titties just to have them, just to say that they could.
Yeah.
Who hasn't? Who hasn't?
Yeah. And so, to me, I was like, oh, we're not going to see it at all. And, like, as soon as I had that thought, they fucking brought the thunder. I was like, all right, here we go.
Give us everything we wanted.
We gotta have a Game of Thrones titty
and
watch.
more.
I need alerts of certain characters.
Yeah.
Anyways, our movie of the week, City of God. In the poverty-stricken favelas of Rio de Janeiro in the 1970s, two young men choose different paths. Rocket is a budding photographer who documents the increasing drug-related violence of his neighborhood. Jose Zé Pequeño is an ambitious drug dealer who uses Rocket and his photos as a way to increase his fame as a turf war erupts with his rival, Knockout Ned. The film was shot on location in Rio de Janeiro's poorest neighborhoods. I'll be honest, this was toughy. It was a tough watch. This has been in my Amazon Netflix recommended for years, and I never watched it. And it sounded neat, but I just never was able to watch it. And I can respect that, you know, there's some real fucked up shit that happens, but boy, this movie's dark. Oh my god. I thought we had a lot of guns in America. Every motherfucking kid in this movie has a fucking 1911 or a fucking revolver.
Where do you think they're coming from?
It was there was a few scenes that were like, did someone get shot for real? Because that acting was a little too fucking good. when those kids got shot in the feet, I was like,
that little boy
those
crying.
kids maybe got shot in the foot.
Damn.
It was fucking wild. I don't, and I did not enjoy this movie, but not because it was a bad film. I think the cinematography was a bit too early 2000s with the cliche stuff, but not a movie I think I wanted to particularly watch. Not a movie I enjoyed watching. Again, I respect what the Brazilian people in this movie are going through. Like I appreciate that, but I don't know, just the way the world's going. Like, we got our problems, they got their problems. Like, I don't know. It was a bit of a tough watch, and I get it. I get it.
Can
100%.
I put a disclaimer before everyone else goes? Because I hear your points, but counterpoints. And one of the reasons I chose this is we kind of cover a lot of stuff with stylized violence, right? Like, we'll talk about Goodfellas, we'll talk about like Tarantino movies. I mean, just Game of Thrones. We were just talking about it with really, really stylized violence. This one's a bit harder to swallow because it's almost done in the style of those types of movies where it's like, oh, okay, the story of so-and-so, or, like you said, like the cinematography is stylized in a way. But this is set in Rio, but it could really be set like so many places in the world. This could have been set in Mexico. This could have been set in the United States, honestly, where there is this like cycle of violence where if there's not a lot of economic opportunities and selling drugs is the only way that someone might see to escape poverty. Like, this is like very applicable to so many places in the world, and so it is a tough watch, and it's definitely not for everyone. But I just really appreciate it for like an incredible piece of art and just a really challenging piece of art. Again, I know Gigi would never watch this movie because she doesn't like things that are just so graphic in this sense. But for me, it's like you just kind of can appreciate the themes that it's trying to convey and just the hardships that someone else may have in a different part of the world or in your own backyard, honestly.
Yeah. This movie, Marco, you brought up the word cycle, and this movie follows a very distinct cycle where growing up, these young kids see their older brothers and kind of take after them.
They want to be like them.
They want to be like, what are they called? The Tender Trio?
The Hood.
The Tender Trio.
Which was such an exhausting part of the movie. I was like, can we fucking move the story along? Why are we watching this? But
I didn't really get into this movie until like the whole first act. I was like, this is so fucking boring.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Lil Dice they showed the not behind the scenes, but like, oh, this is what really happened, like how that raid got fucked up.
Flashback.
And then I was like, oh shit, because even in the moment I was like, who fucked this up that bad?
Yeah.
Like, they specifically said don't kill anybody, and like every room there's like,
I thought it might have been like a police, whatever you call it, police plant evidence kind of thing situation, and then seeing how they flash back to that kid just wrecking those
bro,
people.
With no regret, bro.
That
like
was when
Joker
my stomach started turning, and then when they hit those kids get shot in the foot, and then he hands a gun to that other little kid. I had to stop. I was done as a dad. Like, seeing that kid crying with his snot nose and everything. My heart broke, man. I was like done. I was done. I messaged in the chat like, I can't do this.
I get that.
This is a
totally
gabagool shooting each other, over turf.
So that whole first act comes back much later in the movie, like you guys were saying. So it made sense to me then. But in the moment, I was like, can we please get this fuck? Because he's like, I want to tell you the story, but I can't tell you the story until I tell you this story. I'm like, come on. So it follows mainly character Lil Z. Well, it follows Rocket, but the story is kind of really about Lil Z. And that motherfucker is like a board certified psychopath. Like, you fucking
1000%.
hate this dude in this movie. Like, he's such a piece of shit. And it's like, well, he grew up watching and wanting to be like his brothers, or more like wanting their power, because that's really what the movie is about, right? He wanted, he wanted it all for himself.
Think about how many little assholes there are like this around the world that you put a gun in
Exactly.
their hand.
And that's how the movie ends, is he gets supplanted by the little kids that are watching him. And oh my God, it was like, holy shit, this movie is fucked.
Cycle starts over.
yeah, like Marco said, it's this horrible cycle, and it was an interesting watch. It's definitely a tough movie to get through, but I do think it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I couldn't finish it, but I think people would appreciate it. And I think the cinematographer was like a commercial cinematographer or something. So there is a lot of like, quick cuts and some camera tricks that are a little over the top. But I think overall it's a beautiful film. It's really well shot. And I think the story's worth understanding. Even if you don't make it all the way through, you get the gist of it and have some empathy for people's circumstances. But
Ben.
Yeah, so I watched this last night in bed after Shauna fell asleep, and it was a movie that I found to be so heavy that I've carried it all day today. I thought about it all day, but I respect Marco for choosing this one. This is not an easy watch. This is not a film that everybody's going to see or everybody's going to want to see. It's not a film that I think even really ever heard of before. But unlike kind of like you were saying earlier, one of you were saying earlier that, so many films nowadays are Hollywood, right? Like they get that Hollywood flair on them, and we laugh and we get excited about the violence. This felt like watching actual real life, like almost like found footage. Like I couldn't differentiate it from actual reality to filming. I thought it was devastating to watch. Yeah. But the realness in the messaging, in combination with keeping up with the subtitles, I found to be difficult because I'm trying to pay attention to a lot of the quick flashes and a lot of things that are happening. People are getting killed, and you're being introduced to characters, and then they're getting just randomly shot in the alleyway because he just said just an off the cuff remark that Buddy didn't like, and so boom, he's dead, and some of the the madness or the insanity in that little guy as he got older, like when Benny was giving the camera to Rocket in that farewell party, and what's his name, the little guy, little Z or little
Zippo.
Z, he sees the camera being handed off, and he sees some of that bromance happening, and you just what's about to happen, and it was hard. It was really hard to watch. It's also, I didn't realize how much kid violence there would be, not only in the film, but just in reality, what this film is based off of, right? Where these people grow up, how it is. I would never expect to survive past the day that I'm existing in if I lived in that time, knowing those types of people. You don't look forward to tomorrow because you just want to make sure you get through the end of today without looking at somebody the wrong way, without walking out the wrong alleyway. That was really, really crazy. So is this worth the watch? I would say if you can appreciate having a bit of a lesson in the sense of learning something about another culture that you may not have already known about, or just you're sick of the Hollywood movies, you want to have something that actually sticks. This one really stuck. Would I ever watch it again? Absolutely not. It was definitely something that I'm happy I've seen, but it was way too heavy to feel like I would look forward to ever seeing that storyline again. I feel like seeing it the first time, I got out of it what I think was intended, which was, as I said, this great weight that I've carried for the day. And that's not a bad thing, Marco, by the way. I appreciate movies that create emotion in me, that can bring me to fear and tears and laughter and love, all in 2 hours of cinema. I thought it was wonderful that way, and equally beautifully devastating.
What brought you more fear, the movie or putting together the Hot Toys cable photos?
I did the cable photos first, to be honest. So
Okay.
I pick Evangelion, and I'm a fucking madman. Marco picks his movie, and he's the Messiah. How dare
I don't understand. I come here to enjoy and get away from reality. Fucking thing.
But John,
luckily for me, I didn't watch it,
right?
so it was cool.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I would just say,
IMDb's
to my point earlier, John, right? Like we talk about a lot of movies that are really violent, that are maybe based on true events, and I don't feel that this is just so far removed from those other things that we follow. It just happens it involves a lot more children, so that's what makes it even more
a lot less
comfortable.
gabagool.
You see Robert De Niro shooting someone, it's okay. You see fucking Tiny Tim over there pulling out a gun and shooting another kid. That's a little bit of an issue. But anyways, let me get this. Let's wrap this up because let me give you the IMDb because we fucking City of God. We fucking.
We're taking bets on when's the next movie John's gonna watch.
8.6. Actually, thanks to Paul and thanks to what's his name, Marco, for trying to send me the link, but no, it didn't work out. 8.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 91% Rotten Tomatoes, and that's pretty much it. I wasn't gonna sit through watching kids kill each other anyways, but sweet.
You're Canadian.
What are you picking next, Marco?
Wow, Jesus Christ.
I do think that the cover of this picture is a little bit deceptive.
Yeah.
If I picked this just off,
You're
like,
like,
if I went
look
to
at these kids, they're so happy.
Yeah, if I went to Blockbuster and
except
picked
for
this
the
off
gun
the movie
toting
wall
kids.
No,
and
it's
then
not
got it
Blockbuster.
home,
It's Blockbuster.
it's not Blockbuster. I would not.
Yeah, it's like,
But
oh, a
then I
spring
would-
break movie. Let's go. Fucking
Yeah,
I
John.
will say that
I love God.
The poster kind of represents the duality of Rio de Janeiro, though, right? Like it is at once a really beautiful city on the beach, and then also like a really horrendously violent area with like a lot of poverty. So yeah, I guess it accomplishes that.
Also,
Ben.
never think of a warm banana the same way ever again. Just put it out there.
Ben,
That was
please alleviate us from this depressing film.
Just kidding.
Ben, why did I see that you bought a bunch of bananas on your way to work
I
this
know,
morning?
right? Looking for a good deal on bananas, warm
What
bananas.
was his nickname? Cabbage Head or something? What do they call him?
No,
Carrot.
Wasn't it
Carrot. Yeah.
Carrot
No,
Top.
the guy who kills his wife.
I
it
forget.
gets better.
Snitch. All right, let's go, Ben. What's the movie of the week?
That's fucked. I was gonna
All
pick the
night.
new film, that Jamie Foxx has done, the Night Shift. I haven't seen it yet.
Hey!
I've been meaning to watch it.
Okay,
so,
cool.
It's fun.
looks like a good one about vampires. So let's watch that one. A little different tone this time. So cool.
Right. Dean, let's say thank you to the people that keep the doors open here at Collecting Weekly.
Yes, the three pillars, as John coins. Give a quick shout out to our Patreonies: Sean Fear, Ian Stevie, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, James Colley, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Gist, Daminator, Joao Bretta, Thomas Clark, Sweet Danny Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Krett, Big Fern, King Zach, Caesar Mariquin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Rick DeGregorio, The Everyday Collector, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rainer, Alec Morgan, Tukathri Wa, Derek B, Pablo Meza, Carlos Saavedra, Matt Clemenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Don Maton, Jimmy James, Stephen Percha, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve Maria Stanley, Eddie Mazanars, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. Wow, you love
What
to
a
hear
guy.
a bunch of angels.
What a bunch of angels there. If you want to join our Patreon, click that link there in the comments. Full disclosure, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but our stickers are supposed to be in tomorrow. They haven't shipped yet from Sticker Mule. So August may be like shipping the first week of September. I'm going to throw everyone a bonus sticker backlog in your Patreon letter. I do apologize for that, but unfortunately it's a bit out of our control at this time because we didn't choose the guaranteed shipping option.
Well,
but
they really,
September,
they really live up to the name, Sticker Mule, eh?
shipping it by
slow
mule.
shipping.
No, they're usually really good. I think we've placed like 60 orders with them. It's like the first one that we really had a big issue with. September Patreon benefits. These are going to be for this month. We have the 2,000 subscriber sticker and the Live and Let Dice sticker. We were hoping to get the chibies done for the Live and Let Dice, but we have too many character changes that it's just probably never going to happen.
I love the fact that Live and Let Dice sticker is in the shape of a
D20.
Yeah,
I thought of it, baby. Anyway, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be a really great month for us. Patreon starts at $5 a month for the Sweet Angel tier, $15 for the Certified Crispy tier, and $25 for the What a Guide tier. You get all kinds of different benefits depending on the pledge that you make. We have some great YouTube channel members as well. We have Mojo Z78, Absolute Irwin, Test Just One, DK Avenger 702, OMFG Rick, S Beam, Andres IB, Daminator, Sam Giss, Thomas Clark, Benjamin Hansen, Chris V, Big Ol' Fern, OG Fan, Bam M, Mark Pearson, Ben Thomas, Paul Schreiber, Andrew Gibo, CC3PO, Lemur Hernandez, Carlito, CT603, Eddie Money Mendez, Luke Fredericks, and Sia Dreams. Thank you guys for your support. YouTube channel membership starts at 99 cents, and if you're a Patreon member, or $2.99 if you are not. Helps keep the doors open. Everything's getting more expensive these days. Stickers, postage, hosting, SoundCloud, all that stuff. So it definitely helps us keep the wheels in motion. Tomorrow, 10:30. It's most likely going to be after dark. I know Saturday we said we were probably going to play D&D on Wednesday for a backlog, but I highly doubt that that's going to happen. So stay tuned. We're kind of figuring that out. I would say most likely it's going to be after dark tomorrow. Thursday we have OFAC. Lane Kramer from Monday Nights Unboxings is going to be joining us for that. And then Friday we have Club. Saturday, I don't think we have anything planned, but I know Dean's going to be out of town, so maybe we'll have to figure something out. Some kind of a fun stream or something to kind of keep a little bit of content on the channel. But yeah, should be a great week of CW. Halfway through it. TeePublic, if you guys want to buy anything, you can get some shirts there. They're usually 35% off. I'd wait for the deal. I think they're pretty good price for the deal. John, can we read our socials for me, please?
Yes, on Facebook we got Collecting Weekly. We also have our main group, Collecting Weekly Auxiliary. And on Instagram we have @CollectingWeekly, @CollectingWeekly_clips, and @The Everyday Collector.
Thank you for that. We also have a giveaway that we're doing. This one's not like a crazy huge giveaway, but we're doing it to support our new partnership with Hero Forge for Dungeons and Dragons. So we're not technically sponsored; we're affiliated, and we're in the process of applying for a formal sponsorship. But you can click that affiliate link there in the comments. You can make a character on this website called Hero Forge. It's very easy to do. I'd be happy to walk you through it. And if you just click the link, it helps us out. And if you're happy with the character that you create, go to the pin post on Auxiliary, add it to the comments, and on October 1st, on our D&D session that night, we'll pick a winner, and we'll add their character to our Dungeons & Dragons game, and we'll print you your character if you're in the United States. We'll 3D print your character for you. So I think we only have like one entry so far, so if you guys are out there, D&D fans, want to support this giveaway and support our partnership and give us a little bit of negotiating power when Hero Forge reviews our application, that would be fantastic. But yeah, that's I think that's pretty much it. We got Pose Wars coming back September 10th, so it's gonna be very exciting. Gonna be an interesting one. I think we're gonna start with 1/12 and then kind of work it either monthly or bi-weekly. We're still figuring that out, probably monthly. But you guys have asked for it, and that's what we're gonna do. Big shout out to Paul Schreiber. Paul, how was your first Tuesday stream? I know you've been on unboxing a few times, but
yeah, it was great. I'm feeling a little more comfortable, so thanks for having me, and look forward to hanging out more.
Always welcome, my friend. Anyone have any shout outs that they want to give?
I was going to say, wait till John grows his facial hair back. He gets way meaner with facial hair. It's weird.
Don't be jealous, man.
He was really nice today. Yeah, I appreciated it.
I have to put up with your shit now. That's why.
You look really friendly.
Hey, I have a shout out. Shout out to Cece. She posted the Vader bust today in the Patreon chat and reminded me that I needed to pay my deposit on the quarter scale Luke and Leia. So thank you.
Shout out to CC for being a gift from the heavens. We love CC.
That's true.
What an angel.
Shout out to the chat. And who else? Whose birthday was it? It was Big Peps this week.
Oh, Big Peps. Happy
Big
40th birthday, Big Peps.
Big Dog Pound.
The legend, bro.
Big Dog Pound. We had a birthday. He was in the chat earlier. And the chat, guys who were listening to the show, always appreciate the support.
Yeah, 100%. We couldn't do it without you guys.
Shout out to
well on our
Oxcon.
way. We're well on our way to 2,100 subs, which is really great to see. Marco's right. Shout out to Oxcon if you're in San Antonio. Marco, Danny, it's going to be a good time. And Mark Pearson are going to come down to San Antonio. Paul may be joining us also, so it'll be a fun
I wonder
weekend.
how much the flights are. I kind of want to
come down, Ben. come down. It's probably cheaper than postage.
Probably cheaper, you
know. It's gonna be a fun weekend. But yeah, if you can come down, bro, you can stay at our house. Cool. No problem.
Badfish, do I know about what?
Oh, he's joking that you didn't know about the Hero Forge sponsorship. Like mid-show, you're like, wait, what?
I didn't. Yeah,
well, it was in the Discord. I put it like 3 times in the Discord.
I went to look back. I didn't see it.
And I was like I said it earlier already, but I was gonna shout out Zach just because he was able to find me that Mask of the Phantasm, which is like when you look for that in Canada right now, it's like $200 to $300. Yeah, so getting and like I already had the Batman, I didn't need the Batman with it, so it's like. And Zach found me the one that has the hook for a hand, which like most loose ones don't have the hook. So
they lost.
That was pretty badass, man. So thank you, I appreciate it.
What I do, baby.
100%.
Shout out to Ben for sending
me. You already have
check.
a spot on the show
It's
there,
gonna take
Ben.
6 to 8 days to. Just kidding.
I've got a cloth here, so if I have to wipe the brown off, we're golden.
Wow.
You don't see it on the chat.
Anyways,
bring it to San Antonio.
I'll send you a
so
warm
wipe the
banana.
white off.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, I'm Zach.
I'm Dean.
I'm Jonathan.
I'm Marco.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Paul.
We'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye.